Hello, good morning, and welcome. Today we'll be casting Apex Legends Global Series Championship. We're going to begin here in just a moment. Appreciate your patience. Again, this is going to be casted live. Whenever it does turn into a VOD and you watch it on YouTube, I will timestamp it. But this was recorded live on YouTube, here casted, and of course, if you're looking at chat, just as a friendly reminder, there is a 5-minute delay with interaction with chat. We'll begin here in just a moment. If you're just tuning in, we'll begin here in just a moment. I welcome you to the stream. Today we'll be casting Apex Legends Global Series Championship. Begin in just a moment. Servers are just getting fired up. Everyone is just hopping in, getting ready. And we'll begin game one once we settle on in for today. Today is day 2 of Apex Legends Global Series Championship. A lot is on the line. There's a lot to break down for today. And I'm really excited to be your driver for today, and thank you for joining me on today's journey. Just don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It does help others find the channel. And I look forward to casting in just a quick moment. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day, fantastic night. For me, it's almost about 5 in the morning here. Just woke up a little bit ago just to get prepped for today. I'm very excited to be casting Apex Legends Global Series Championship for you all. Hopefully all of you guys are excited. We're going to begin here in just a moment. Appreciate your patience. Don't forget to leave a like and show your support. Again, this is going to be recorded live, but just as a friendly reminder, there is a 5-minute delay. 5-minute delay in interaction with chat, again, because we'll be controlling the camera, casting this live across for APAC North. So begin here in just a quick moment. I'll switch over to POV, and we'll get down and ready for everything Apex Legends. Again, we welcome you to the stream. Appreciate your patience as we get everything fired up. We're going to begin here in just a moment. Everyone is just piling into the server. We're about to get started. This is Apex Legends Global Series APAC North Day 2. So I'm excited to be casting for you all. Excited for you to join on the journey. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. This is going to be casted live on a 5-minute delay as we are controlling the camera, commentating. If there's any team you specifically want to see, then let us know. Let us know who you want us to follow, and we'll be sure to capture and paint the narrative of what is happening for the tournament for today. Again, we'll begin here in just a moment and look forward to casting for you guys. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let us get into it. As you can tell, the server is being populated. Things are getting set up. We are underway for day 2 of APAC Legends Global Series. I'm very excited to really be casting for you guys. We saw in day 1 quite a bit of action really took place. We saw teams playing it safe for day 1, really getting the feelers out, but as we kept going in through day 1, we really started to see how things started to shift and change. So we have a lot of questions to ask ourselves for today of how we believe today is going to really shape up and really change, and even how adjustments are going to happen within teams changing up their compositions. We saw quite a bit underway. So I hope all of you guys are excited. I know I'm excited. I'm so excited that I'm about to sneeze, so I'm about to sneeze to just a... Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Getting the sneeze out of the way right before casting, because we know we're going to have a mouthful once we're right into the main game and everything is all said and done. So we have got everything up and running. Hope all of you guys are well. Hope all of you guys all are excited. Give me 1 second here just to push out one last thing and make sure that we are all good to go. So we're just kind of setting up the back end of things really quickly. But the lobby is firing up, and we should be ready to go in just a moment. But I appreciate you guys' patience. I thank you guys for tuning in for today and being a part, because today's an exciting day. Today's going to be a very exciting day. Okay, looks like we are all set. There's nothing else we need to really change or do. We're just ready to get going. But I appreciate everyone for being here. Dear Elvis, Sweaty Spaghetti, Husky, great to have all of you guys here. We're going to learn a lot. We're going to continue to talk about the meta. So yesterday, if you missed yesterday, we do have the VOD live on the YouTube channel. This will turn into a VOD as well once it's done, completed the live stream and everything. So if you're watching this, do not worry. I will timestamp everything for you guys. What we're going to do here is we're going to break down what happened in day 1. So Fennel Korea took first place yesterday because of its full-on ruling of the fact that they took first place, and Crazy Raccoon didn't win a round. They did achieve a lot of kills. They took second place in most of the rounds, as well as third place. So give me 1 quick second here. I just need to make sure my audio as well is all set up. Let's do a quick test. Let's do a quick... There we go. Yep, everything is all set. Just wanted to make sure the audio is crystal clear. We are good to go. But appreciate all of you guys for being here. Let me make sure Nightbot is set up, just to give you guys a friendly reminder that this is on a 5-minute delay. So I will do my best to interact with you guys in chat. But again, because this is a tournament, you know, got to keep the competitive integrity intact. Nightbot should be here in just a moment, and then we should be good to go. The lobby is filling up, ladies and gentlemen. Lobby is filling up. It is 5:04 in the morning, but we are covering APAC Legends Global Series Championship for APAC North, so I'm really excited. So yesterday, just to kind of recap, we saw a lot of teams running Gibraltar, Bloodhound, and Wraith. We knew Wraith was going to make a big splash right back into tournament play because low profile has been removed. That's really important to really highlight, was the fact that low profile was so dominant. We're not saying Watson because we know her fences are still bugged out at the moment, but Respawn is very much aware of this and they are making an adjustment. Hopefully we'll see something as early as tomorrow, and I'll be sure to put a short about it once her fences are fixed. So it's pretty exciting to see, because I wonder if next week we're going to see a change in the meta. We do see Octane taking more of a presence. I believe he was a part of maybe almost 5 or 6 total teams yesterday, which is crazy to really highlight the fact that he has such a dominant presence now in competitive. That's something you don't necessarily see a whole lot. I'm going to switch my POV now. Let's go over to the main lobby where you can see everything a lot larger here, where how much we're seeing things really take a shift. So we saw Horizon move out of the meta. Horizon is less dominant than she used to be, and that's partly because her tactical ability was just so powerful. Her tactical ability was so effective, and now because of the change and her tactical ability being nerfed, it's just not as powerful, which is understandable. So now, because of race low profile being removed and her hitbox adjustment, we're seeing that pro players are navigating back to her, as well as the synergy between Gibraltar and Bloodhound. We haven't seen a Valkyrie in play yet, but that doesn't mean we will not see Valkyrie. I think a lot of teams are playing it safe, kind of getting feels out, seeing how competitive would kind of adjust. And perhaps today we might see a Valkyrie in play. Maybe we'll just see a lot more Octane. But we're seeing only a few Legends being utilized, even though there's so much in the meta at the moment. I think a lot of pro players are playing it safe. There's a lot of money on the line for this tournament. And so there's a lot of... everyone's navigating pretty carefully. They're going with the safest bet, and that's really what any pro roster would do. Excuse me, is to really take it safe. All right, so as the server is filling up here, we're about to begin, and don't worry, I'll pause the music once we're in the lobby so you guys can hear all the audio. Go ahead and turn up the audio here. Quite loud. I know you guys want to hear all the gunshots and everything from the game. Be sure to have that as well. That boy says, thank you so much for being here. Adam, great to be here as well. Thunder, great to have you. Husky, thank you again, buddy. Cyraz, good to have you. And Techie, hope all of you guys are doing well. Appreciate all of you guys. Don't forget to leave a like. Nazi, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, guys, there's a lot to learn here, a lot to unpack. And we're going to really break things down on just how much we can really learn from watching just a pro tournament of this caliber. There's a lot of talent here. We got Crazy Raccoon, Fennel, A2 Esports, CVA, Good 8 Squad, GTS Black, Ice Cream, Jupiter Vega, Lag Gaming, LFT, which is also FTW. In a moment, I'll post the Liquipedia as well, where you guys can see the overall scores once we wrap up the first round. We have One South, Orthros Fang. We have Reignite, which is still running a Pathfinder, by the way. It's great to see them. Both Orthros are both running. RNR, or RXR, Clover. T1, as we know, is always landing Lava Fissure, splitting the north side of the map as well. We have Team Unite landing around Thermal Station side. You know, Crazy Raccoon we mentioned, but they're taking Sorting Factory. I don't think they're going to change from their main spots. We have both USG rosters here, and there's also Warby. So what we're seeing today is Group A and Group C. So it looks like they're going to make a quick swap here. Team 9 and Team 20 are swapping. Okay. I'm going to make that note if they are swapping. Give me 1 second. I'm just making that note because I have my own little notes here. So I have it once we're in game. Nicholas, it's great to have you here. You guys are all super early as well. How do we counter enemies rev ulting us? It's frustrating. Well, it's crazy that, you know, Rev Ultimate is extremely effective, more so in ranked and other lobbies comparatively from what we're seeing in competitive. You have to realize the downside of the Rev Ult is that once you're kind of shot back, there's really not a lot of power behind it. It's that initial part. It's kind of it's kind of why you don't see Revenant in pro tournaments. It's kind of what you call the what's lack for a better word, the dummy push. You know, it's like you're not thinking, you're just kind of pushing it as fast as possible. You see it in Valorant too when you have Phoenix. Phoenix in Valorant also has that that push as well. I think we're seeing another swap. Is there another swap? They may need to update the listing. Okay, we're seeing a little bit of a flip around here. All right, let me see here. Looks like we're seeing just a flip of teams at the moment before we begin, which is understandable. So giving just a moment, I want to update my notes and make sure I have everyone in the right slots as well. We'll begin here in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate your patience. I'm excited to have all of you guys here to be a part. Everyone's kind of doing a little bit of musical chairs, and it looks like teams are kind of flipping around here. But we'll update in just a moment. I appreciate. Yeah, there is a Watson fence bug, so let's kind of break that down from what we're seeing. Watson fences have been bugging out as of late. They do not slow. So if you run through them, you will not see the slowing effect, and that's because of the arc star is also tied to the Watson fence, but we will see an adjustment on that. Actually, real quick, let me turn on the air conditioning real quick. You won't hear it, don't worry. But I just need to turn it on right before. We're going to delay, start, and set this up correctly. Okay, so we have a little bit of a slight delay, ladies and gentlemen. They're just reconfiguring the teams. And don't worry, but we're going to be right back in just a second. Everything's fine. Let me go turn on my AC real quick. One of the biggest things is always having to do with lights, and it gets very hot. So what I want to reiterate what chat was also kind of chiming in on the fact that Octane Jump Pad is so OP and it regenerates so fast and it provides movement for everyone, which is why Horizon was utilized so much in the meta before, is that it provided mobility for everyone. ExoClan used that Valk to perfection. That's amazing to hear. Hopefully we'll see in APAC North. We see Valkyrie. Did not see her at all yesterday. At all. But we're going to see, hopefully, a change in adjustment. So I need to move my teams around as well, what I see on screen. Let me make sure everything looks same. Looks like we have just some adjustments on some rosters. Just kind of moving around a little bit. While they adjust this. And they actually may go back. Let's see here. Hold on. Okay. Before I make my adjustments on my sheet, I just need to make sure that these are confirmed, the slots that the teams are going to be in. So they haven't changed the names at the moment, but they should soon. We have a pretty big matchup for today. We got T1 versus Crazy Raccoon versus FL. So we're looking at a pretty intense lineup for today, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of teams here, a lot of powerhouses, a lot of talent across the board. Even seeing GTS Black, they have performed to perfection as well. They've had a lot of great performances as well. Reignite has done very well. I've seen the USG team. Talent across the board here. Talent across the board. Even yesterday, LFT was really showing up as well. So we're seeing a lot of amazing teams, a lot of amazing rosters really shape up for today. So once they clean up this whole shift here, we will begin here in just a moment. So I appreciate you guys' patience. This is a perfect moment to grab some water here. Abraham, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Moneykins, thank you so much for being here. NSR, we're going to be casting here in just a moment. The Watson fence is not fixed yet? Not yet. I will post a short the minute that they are adjusted. Hopefully tomorrow, actually. The minute I see any posting from Respawn, which is they've been really great about communicating about it. They communicated about before. All right, let's see here. Let me make some changes on my end. See here, team 16 is I'm updating some of the backend, so whenever I'm controlling the backend, I know exactly what team to kind of switch to. Okay, Team Unite move from 17 to 12. Okay. Make sure I have that on my notes. 12, 17. Yes. Okay, 13 is T1, which they're going to adjust in a moment. Reignite, Team 14. RXR Clover, Team 15. And it looks like USG seems fine on their end. No changes there. And it looks like I have everything all set up. So it looks like I'm all good to go. What do you think of someone playing Apex? I mean, gotta play Apex, right? Colin, what's going on? Thank you so much for all your guides. It's great to have you here, bud. Hopefully even seeing today, you'll see a whole lot more. Potato, thank you so much for being here as well. Thank you so much, buddy. Hopefully there's a lot to learn here. I know I post a lot of guides, but I really hope as well that watching a tournament and adding the commentary, what I'm going to start to do in today's tournament as well is add a lot more commentary for those that have never seen a tournament who are learning and just get I want this to be a nice introduction to just how Apex really feels at a high-end level and a top-end level. And I'm really excited. That makes me really happy to do. And I want you guys to feel connected to each and every one of these players because they bring something really special to the table and they're all extremely talented. Very, very talented individuals and players and so much to learn from. Not only just from their aim, but how they're positioning and what they're doing and why they're doing it, why they push, why they don't push. And we'll do our best to always ask those questions when we're in the round. And we'll always capture all the action. Sometimes with the Battle Royale, a lot of action can really migrate back and forth, and there can be a lot always taking place. But there is a moment where the action is predictable, and it starts to kind of roll out the same way over and over and over again in a good way. And I want you guys to really take note of that. And when you're playing your games, you really start to see where the ebb and flow goes. Now, keep in mind this is a very high-end level of Apex Legends, meaning these are professional players. They play at a very pro level. That when you're playing against pubs, sometimes they do things that are not as consistent. It looks like we do have one more switch. Oh, I see that switch. 19 look like they flew. Well, got it. Taking note of that. Perfect. All right. Writing in my notes. I got my little driver keys here from when we're all set up and good to go. I know the teams exactly that we're going to look into. I'm going to take a look initially into T1 to see if they're landing in the same spot. Crazy Raccoon, I don't think is going to leave sorting. They're very consistent there overall. And Fennel, I wonder if they're going to take over in Fragment side. A2 Esports has been really showing up. Rootsy has switched over more to Wraith compared to Horizon. So it's been good to see that change. Jupiter Vega as well. We need to keep a hot eye on because Jupiter Vega. Let me tell you, Jupiter Vega has come a long way in terms of their performance. Every tournament they only get better and better, and I hope that they recognize it as a team that their hard work is paying off. That it is noticeable how they handle high pressure situations. I've casted a lot of these tournaments now, and I've started to really take notice of how much they've improved. I remember there was a few tournaments ago where they were in a really intense situation. Everyone was picking them in the center of the lobby. They kept their cool. They kept getting knocked. They kept recovering. They put the pressure out. And it's just important to see when a team is synergizing like that, when they have an immense amount of pressure, just how much they keep it together. So apologize for the day. Also, Potato Grimes, thank you so much for the $2. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, buddy. And I also appreciate you for being a member of the channel. Merly, good morning. Good morning, Asan. It's great to have you. You think Horizon will get a small buff to her tactical? I think she's going to get some sort of adjustment. Her ultimate, I don't think needs the change. I think that mostly the change needs to happen to her tactical. I would agree with that. It just needs a kind of a middle ground with her tactical ability. I think it's a little bit on the weaker side at the moment. All right, so this is game one. We're just waiting till they kind of make the change, and it looks like we are starting. Looks like we are ready to go. Game one, ladies and gentlemen, underway. We're about to get started here. Hope all of you guys are ready. Hopefully you got your snacks at home. I got my water. I got my stuff here. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Game one of Apex Legends Championship Global Series. ALGS, if you will. Be sure to pause the music as we go underway. I know they were just updating a lot of the back-end stuff. And we'll be sure to pause the music once we're in, but we know what teams to really highlight and what to look for here. All right, let's see the compositions codes and how things are going here. We're going to see this populate on screen. we'll just start to see some of the adjustments of individuals and what they're picking. So it looks like we have a Valkyrie, ladies and gentlemen. GTS Black as one of the first teams for APAC North to run Valkyrie, as well as Good 8 Squad. We have Valkyrie finally in play. And Orthos Fang? Okay, that was a mistake. For a minute there, I thought I saw a Rampart. We do have GTS Black running a Caustic. So we're starting to see some interesting compositions here, ladies and gentlemen. We have 2 Valkyries finally in play. That makes me very excited to see. Hopefully makes you guys excited. We definitely need to follow those teams and rosters to see what they're going to do with the Valkyrie and how it comes into play. Let's take a look at where Good 8 Squad is going to land with their Valkyrie and how they're going to handle this situation. So they're going to land over, as they did before, on Fragment East side. And look at that. Look at the Valkyrie that is in play. Let's take a look at the next squad as well. So we got GTS Black as well as Good 8 Squad. And we're going to keep a close eye on the Valkyrie and how much of an impact that it is making. And just as a reminder, she can scan beacons. There is a beacon here, and we're going to see the first beacon for APAC North being hit from Good 8 Squad. Quite literally, history in the making. First Valkyrie, and there is the Gibby Bubble. This is a tactic utilized, but also Fennel Korea. This is what they do, you know, they kind of throw it. So Good 8 Squad is definitely kind of taking a little bit of a watch from what they're doing there. This is the first Valkyrie that I've personally seen, so I'm very excited to see how this shapes things up. I've seen her utilized in scrims. Any 50-50s happening? Let's take a look. We do have a team nearby here, and they just took out that drone. Let me make sure we're not missing any action. The only fight that could take place is between Good 8 Squad as well as oneself. So we're going to keep an eye on this action to see if this does break out into a potential fight and how this shapes up. It's exciting. I don't know. I'm generally excited to see Valkyrie in play, especially at a tournament level. For, you know, ALGS. I've seen her in GLL, but seeing her officially in ALGS just has a different resonance to it. Has that caliber, meaning that she is meta. I know we didn't see her yesterday, but, you know, the reason is, you know, we're kind of playing it safe. But I think as teams really start to see the dominance that Valkyrie has, and I've always predicted that she will definitely be meta and definitely have that power behind her, and I'm really curious how things are going to shape up with her. So we do have some initial shots here. Let's take a break into some highlights so we can kind of see where the action's taking place. Some of this is really going to take place right now in Fragment. Everything is pulling here. Let's take a look at RXR Clover. They're making their break right into the city. There's nobody necessarily nearby. Let's also take a look at T1 and Crazy Raccoon. Crazy Raccoon is on the sorting factory side, but they're completely uncontested at the moment. They're just going through their normal loot pattern and gearing up so they can rotate in. So Fennel is taking the lava fissure side. They do have launch site as well to them. And T1 is taking their infamous lava fissure portion as well as trials. Parka is running Octane. But we're starting to see more of the meta shift around a little bit, which is pretty exciting to see. So Good 8 Squad has some initial damage here. We have Terra doing some initial damage to the Volt, but does have a nice gold mag to it. The Volt is an extremely powerful weapon, especially from what we're seeing in competitive. She does have her ultimate ready for rotation, but there's really not a reason to really leave where they're at. And they can continue to keep scanning beacons as long as they hold these angles. So they do have the most amount of damage, and here's another rotation from down below. Need to be ready for this action as teams start to roll up right behind them. I wonder if that's the next... Yeah, it is another Valkyrie squad making the nice rotation in. GTS Black has height, but they're getting picked on from various angles to see if they're able to recover this. The Gibby does throw the bubble, and the Valkyrie does position closely nearby. The Valkyrie works as a nice wraith in addition to the team, because it calls for an immediate rotation for wherever they need to go if they can fly up in the air. Teams are just getting comfortable in their spots. It's interesting to see that we have not seen any knocks. We still have 60 individuals still in the lobby, and this is going to be a very tight zone, as you can tell. Everyone is currently finding a building, and teams are starting to rotate right on top of each other. So we need to keep a close eye because the action is going to get pretty hot pretty quick. Not gonna lie, seeing Valkyrie in competitive just inspires me to play her just that much more. And here, as we were predicting, here's some of the initial shots taking place. Tantan has taken a little bit of damage, and Pachi is covering within the angle with a G7 Scout. Gets a nice 49 damage in, just for rotation. Ooh, man, I don't know. I'm just excited to be here today, guys. This is. I like seeing the changes in the meta. I love seeing the changes in the meta and making adjustments. And we have Crazy Raccoon breaking into an early fight, so let me switch over to the POV here. This was kind of a little bit of a shocker here. This is a quick rotation. We did see an early knock, but they're getting picked on from various angles. USG has the eagle from behind, and Selly's prepping his Arcstar, trying to figure out what is going on over here. This looks like this was a cluster that one of the poor teams just caught out right in the center there. Very unfortunate. But it looks like Crazy Raccoon could rotate right back into this fight, hearing some of the action that's taking place. Switched up. Who is the current kill leader? We have Warby roster currently rocking the most kills in the lobby. They need to be careful, or else Crazy Raccoon is going to show up right behind them. They do have their ult out, and they do have the ability to throw some scans up. All they're trying to do is hard hold this angle and hard hold this gate, and Crazy Raccoon is deciding to rotate and find a different angle. Fennel is right on the hot tails of these two rosters. As you can tell, they're starting to catch up, and they do need to be careful. All teams are trying to find their footing into zone. A lot of the teams that are in the current zone, I'm pulling up the map, I want you guys to understand, no fights are breaking out whatsoever in the lobby. If I look to see what is the nearest damage, not a single bullet is being shot at the moment. We do have teams rotating. We do have teams trying to find their footing. Everyone is currently looking for building in the center of the zone, and as the pressure starts to come in, that's when we're going to see fights start to break out. Ras was really impressing me with his movement yesterday. I mean, he's got good movement. He was a very powerful Horizon, and now rocking a Bloodhound, he's definitely something to be feared with his movement and his presence. Let's take a look at the center with the Valkyries. Good 8 squad holding the angle. They did hit Beacon from before. Both these teams, they have a Caustic on the roster. Seeing Caustic in play is very interesting. I have yet to see a Caustic bring up into the meta again. I know Jupiter Vega at one point was running Caustic, but it looks like they're opting for the Wraith, Bloodhound, and Gibraltar. I was kind of curious if a fight was going to break out there. They do have shots. Let's take a look what team Crazy Raccoon is showing up at a different angle here. Zetter just leveled up his armor. Let's switch over to Selly's POV because he is taking point. Selly looking for an angle, trying to take some shots. He gets a little bit of damage rotated back onto him. They are aware that the zone is closing. They don't really have all the gating power behind this. They need to be careful. There is no team behind them. So they do have an open fight to really take this. This could be some early KP for Crazy Raccoon. But it looks like based on the damage, remember, a lot of teams don't necessarily want to fight too much early on. There's only so many resources that you have. And if you can't clean up the fight, by the time you do and you finally loot them, they're just as much in shambles as much as you are. So it needs to be a pretty clean fight that you're taking. And especially whenever you're fighting for zone. And it looks like Crazy Raccoon is trying to fight for the bottom area of this zone. Zetter is getting sniped from a distance, and all they're trying to do is bide their time until they can take a bottom part of what we infamously call streamer building. I don't think they're going to get dropped on. This team looks like they're pretty safe for now. It would be very strange if we saw a drop. I'm not going to lie, that would be kind of strange, but Crazy Raccoon could make the pressure play up top. Let's take a look where the highest amount of damage again. Again, it does live with Warby. His roster currently has the most damage and the most kills are in the lobby. It looks like Crazy Raccoon is making the push. They're taking height. They're claiming dominance of this part of the map. And there's the first knock from Zetter. It looks like actually the opposing team actually got that knock, unfortunately. They got picked on from a distance there, but it looks like Crazy Raccoon has claimed streamer building. If they can hold this area, this is not going to end here. This is most likely going to end on probably the lava side of this map. This is probably where I'm going to predict where the zone is going to pull. Right now, we're not missing a whole lot of shots. Everyone's just kind of taking pop shots. Not going to lie, I'm looking to see where the most amount of damage taking place, and it seemed to be Warby still that has the most amount of damage currently in the lobby. Teams do are all pretty much in the zone, which is kind of surprising how many teams are currently still fitting. T1's about to roll up, though. Parka taking point here with the Octane. He did take a massive amount of damage from the stim. Just as a reminder, the stim did get nerfed, so he definitely took a large amount of damage. All he needs to do is top off at this point, but he does have gold armor to quickly recover and rotate. T1 always gets a gold armor, by the way, and they're so used to working with a gold armor because they always loot up on trials. Don't forget, guys, to leave a like if you're enjoying what you watch. We have 6 games underway for today. We're going to be here for the journey. This is day 2, and we also are going to be here for next week. So if you're enjoying what you see, be sure to subscribe because we're going to be here next week with 2 more days as well as the finals. So there's a lot to unpack and to uncover here. So it looks like T1's team is just rotating and just kind of getting out of dodge. Let's take a look at Crazy Raccoon and how they're doing on their end. There's a lot of teams. Everyone has a building at the moment, and the pressure, surprisingly, is able to hold all of these teams and rosters. This is probably one of the tightest zones that I've seen in a hot moment, and that's because we don't see a whole lot of fragment endings. Gosh, I can't remember the last time we've seen a fragment ending. It's been a minute. I mean, yesterday we saw Thermal Station. We saw most of the pulls are on Thermal Station, to be honest. So it's nice to see a fragment ending again. Fragment definitely provides the most amount of cover and the most amount of options in terms of rotation. We do see a team breaking out. T1 with trying to make a push into a building, and it looks like, unfortunately, the push is not really working out in their favor, and all they're able to do, it looks like that bat, for some reason, did not go off, and it looked like it did for some reason, but that's going to cost them. And all we have is Parka here, a lonely Octane all by himself. He does have gold bag. If you can get this off just in time, it might benefit him. They don't have the angle, and he does not have bubble because he just utilized it, but he is able to recover with his squad. If they get the banner, it's probably not going to be the highest priority. All they need to do is survive at this point, but they do have the jump pad for a quick rotation. He does manage to get the banner just in time there, but I'm not really sure where in the world they're going to be able to resist considering the amount of teams that are currently holding fragment. They just need to find their footing. I wonder if they can get inside the building. The Octane just trying to find an angle, trying to find a position. And it looked like that was not necessarily the play. RXR Clover knocks out T1 in 19th place. T1 is not having a pretty positive start here, but that's okay. T1 has always been able to make it come back many times before. I've seen them really clutch it out. They've come back from worse, honestly, and T1 really knows how to rotate. And the biggest issue that I've always seen with T1 is that they get unlucky with their rotations. And sometimes the luck definitely changes, and Jupiter Vega looks like they're about to get into a fight. So just to kind of wrap up with T1 there, T1, because they have the longest rotation in from Trials, and in Pulse Trials, it's like the biggest thing. Looks like Jupiter Vega might be going for a kidnap. Looks like they're opting not to go for a kidnap. They are aware of their presence, but they are going to Arc Star the living heck out of them. He does get a stick, which is going to be a clear cause for push here. This is a push if I ever did see one, getting that initial Arc Star damage. They did get the bubble out, so if they counteract with a Gibby ult, that might be a play for them. Otherwise, you know, oh, and he's going for the port right back in, but this could spell death as they're rotating out. Gets a nice amount of volt damage in there, about 110 damage. There is a knock, and this screams cleanup. This is Team Unite that is about to get knocked out from the lobby. They're just holding on for dear life as they're getting pecked on as they're rotating in. Crazy Raccoon still holds streamer building, by the way. Oh, and they actually did rotate a little further in. We do have a lot of teams feeling the pressure. Good 8 Squad still has the center of the zone. And we're seeing a lot of action really take place. This is the unfortunate part of a Battle Royale. We do see Fennel fighting for a separate building right inside. Their Wraith is going for a port in. We'll hold with Fennel to see if they're able to find their footing. A lot of teams are going to fight all at once. It's just going to be our job to kind of stick with a few of the rosters and a few of the teams that we can to kind of paint the story. This will get easier for us to paint the narrative of teams that are really taking up the scoreboard and higher up that are really performing. At the moment, you see a lot of teams are feeling the pressure at the moment and need to rotate into zone. Unite is taking the outskirts as well as Jupiter. Fennel did put a port up to try to feel things out, and Crazy Raccoon is currently sitting comfortably in the zone, and this is pulling exactly where we believe that it was.
Let's check out this way.
There's a little bit of time. The zone is going to feel pressure. Let's take a look at Jupiter Vega's POV. I believe this is where the next fight is going to break out. They have a hard rotation in. There's just no buildings for them. There's no buildings, as you saw from the map, and you can see in the highlights on the left side that there really is nowhere for them to go. And it looks like they're really hurting on resources as well.
Someone's been here.
They can't really afford to take too much damage here.
Let's go this way.
As they find their positioning and find their footing, it's going to be a little tough for them. They need to... The best play is really to kind of hold like a wall. All these buildings are occupied, and they can pray that one of them's not, but holding an angle or a wall, which is what they're trying to do right now, and make sure they're not going to get picked on too much. Like the wall and the angle there is really going to be their best play, and all they can do is just pray. I think the underneath part is a decent play, but they're definitely going to get pushed. Jupiter Vega, let's see if they manage to clutch this out. Unfortunately, that armor was broken. That was definitely the easy bait right there. It really didn't have much of a choice. It was a gamble for sure. But all they can do is just hold while all the teams and the whole vicinity are just picking on one another and fighting. You can see from a distance, Pinot is trying to make a poke in, going back and forth. They have 1 minute and 20 seconds until this becomes really... They start to feel that pressure of the zone. There's still a lot of squads. 18 total squads remaining in here. And Crazy Raccoon, even as their team needs to rotate, are starting to feel... This is just getting really tight, and this is not the... We see the usual of congestion happening, but my gosh, are we definitely feeling a nice EVA 8 damage as they start the bubble fight initially here, going back and forth with a bit of the damage. Sully's movement is like a god, bouncing back and forth. Solid movement plays here. Everyone is playing the bubble to the best of their ability. The Crazy Raccoon does lose one. They managed to womp it up, and unfortunately, due to the sheer amount of people that are in the lobby, they get picked on, and that fight, unfortunately, was not clean. As we mentioned, the sheer congestion, while that might have been their best play, the unfortunate part is that there's a million teams keeping eye. Let's take a look at Fennel as they rotate in, and they find their footing. They're pushing on a good 8 squad here. They do have the height of the building. This isn't the worst place in the world to play. We do have 15 squads remaining here in the lobby, and it's really hard to predict, and it is pulling exactly where we mentioned that the zone could potentially pull. Different layers of this building, they may just zip right up to them. It's definitely going to be a ballsy play. Fennel definitely hears the shots down below, wants to get on this action, but they don't have enough intel of what's happening down below. Fennel has performed quite well in past tournaments, which is why we're keeping a close eye to see what they decide to do here. That's good 8 squad down below, getting absolutely decimated. I want to switch over to the POV, but I'm curious, is Fennel going to get on this action? They're hearing all this action, but they're not deciding to go for it. It's a smart play as they start to feel things out for today and try not to get over-aggressive because they have no idea how many teams are actually down there. I mean, we can see it, but for all they know, there could be 6 squads down there. And they jump down and are hoping maybe a squad will get desperate and zip right up to them so they can get some free kills. I guarantee that's what they're calming down below. So patience is really key here as they go for that initial damage and the initial shock factor. Let's take a look at Rootsy's team. Rootsy A2 Esports is holding their angle and holding their own here. They do have some prime positioning. Let's go back to Fennel and see if they're going to get on this action. It looks like also A2 Esports was going for a port in, trying to find this early positioning and early footing. There's the port. They do have some positioning here, but it may not be the best idea to take this early. Otherwise, they're going to get picked on, and they're going to get shot from, as we're seeing, from already every which angle. Let's see if they're able to recover this. They have not used their bubble yet, but he may drop his bubble. He needs a bubble for his teammate just to get the res off. I know he's trying to hold it, but why did he not pop his bubble there? I can understand the pressure of wanting to hold the bubble if they need to go back, but the bubble could definitely be utilized for res to buy themselves some time. Unfortunately, it was not utilized. Definitely, you're getting the jitters out. And these are teams, they know exactly what they're doing, but definitely that bubble could have been utilized. I think it was on, I don't think it was on CD. I believe it was definitely ready for it to be utilized. Fennel making the rotation in. There's still 11 squads still in play here. We're about to see a huge mix of damage here. The R301 shots are on point for today. He's got the EVA 8, what we call the Energy Rogue combo, as most people always know. One of his favorite loadouts, but a favorite loadout among many pros altogether. Everyone knows the strength of the R301 as well as the EVA 8 altogether. We see teams going back and forth, breaking out to constant fights. It's becoming an absolute madhouse. A good 8 squad is trying to hold their own within the building here. We're seeing non-stop. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, GTS Black is holding dominance in the center of the zone, utilizing the caustic gas to its maximum strength and potential at the moment. There's a Valkyrie putting some pressure, taking some height, flying across the air like a flying trapeze. It looks like Fennel finally getting into the thick of it, making their push and way in. This is an absolute cluster. We're seeing mayhem as if this was... My gosh, I can't even think of the actual reference. The Warriors? Is this just a massive street fight breaking out? Fennel finding their positioning, trying to get into zone. This is absolute madness, ladies and gentlemen. Fennel does have actually a good angle here, as we're seeing. Let's take a look at who actually has the most amount of damage in the lobby at the moment. It looks like it's Momon having a lot of fun picking on everyone with the flatline and the R301. Everyone's jumping around like crazy. How is this even going to play out? The Caustic Gas hole in the center of the zone. Caustic Gas is making a big play. Hopefully doesn't take that jump pad on accident. Got to play patient. Got to play it where it's at, ladies and gentlemen. Pino making a big play here, deciding to push on the Caustic Gas. It says, I'm not afraid. I will breathe it in. And Pino goes right back, and there's the bubble to buy themselves a little bit of time. It looks like Fennel is really capitalizing on this whole situation. This is looking pretty great for Fennel as we're holding this angle. They have the wall, they have the angle, everything is safe behind them as long as they look left, look right, and cross the street whenever they need to. This is probably one of the craziest rounds, ladies and gentlemen, that I have ever seen. I mean, not through chaos, through abilities, but just sheer gunfights. I'm excited to see. I mean, the abilities came into play, but listen, you even saw the Caustic Gas not able to really deny as much as probably they were hoping it would. We have 4 teams in the lobby remaining. We have Ice Cream holding the angle over here. They're down 1. We have RXR making an additional play. Eclair already popping his Q. Popping the Q is a clear sign that you're no longer going to be in play. And RX Smelt just holding on for dear life. Moment taking an angle. Let's go back to Fennel as they're picking on this from a distance. They have every opportunity to win this, so we're going to hold on them and take a look how they're going to clean this up. They literally hold the center of the zone. They hold every opportunity to win this. As long as they play patiently, don't get over-aggressive on this, we're going to see some solid plays. There's the cleanup, and now we have only 2 squads remaining. We have the new kill leader of the lobby, Momon, just clearly showcasing dominance. There's a rat on the left, and their full squad right up ahead. The squads that are RXR Clover, Lag Gaming, and Fennel here, ready to kind of take it away. They play this patiently. They wait. This is their game. There's the initial Arc Star, trying to nade them out, trying to get them to leave, and there it is. This is where the free points come in. Fennel, this is their game. They got to be careful not to throw it. Got to play patiently. Got to take the angles whenever they need it. And there's the last rat coming right in. They be sure to clean that up, and Fennel is the champion of the first game of Apex Legends Championship. Very intense game, ladies and gentlemen. Very intense game. Ooh, man, what a first. A crazy, just insane first game. I have seen some intense games, but Fennel, my gosh, have they played it patiently? We got to keep an eye on them, ladies and gentlemen. They're playing hot. They're playing hot. Ooh, man. Now listen, Crazy Raccoon can still make a comeback on this, ladies and gentlemen. This is still anybody's tournament and anybody's day to take it away with day 2. They unfortunately just kind of caught out. I mean, there was so many people in the lobby just non-stop, just shooting at every which angle. It really was not ideal to be in the center of the zone. It really wasn't. You really wanted to be on the outskirts, just as Fennel was, and let everyone duke it out. We'll go into the next round. Let's switch over to game 2, ladies and gentlemen. Game 2. The amount of teams in the center was definitely overwhelming for a lot. It was hard to capture a lot of the action, but I think we managed to kind of hold to kind of see what was really taking place. I mean, there was some phenomenal plays really happening. I think at the end it became very clear who the kill leader was and where all the action was taking place. From Fennel, just constant cleaning up and holding the angles. I think we did a pretty job showcasing as much as we could there. And yeah, pretty solid first round. We'll break down the scores from what we're seeing, but it's very clear Fennel is our first place winner there. And I'm going to give you guys all that you need from the Liquipedia side. I'm going to put it in chat for everyone to see. All right, in just a moment, I'm going to load this up. I love how chat was also with me. I just wanted him to bubble so bad. It could have bought them a little bit of time. It could have bought them a little bit of placement. Just we need the Gibby bubble. The Gibby bubble's there for a reason. The Gibby bubble really makes and breaks a lot of plays. All right, once the server has caught up, we're gonna definitely put in APAC North scoreboard. Under day 2. Okay. All right, I'm going to pin that for you guys, ladies and gentlemen, so you guys have that. There you go. It's not updated yet, so don't worry. You're not going to really see anything yet because it is on a 5-minute delay. It's not to spoil anything. It does take them a moment till they update everything underway. Bitrate is a bit lower today. Let's see here. Let's take a look. It should all be the same. I think there was probably just a lot of action taking place on screen with the gas and everything. But it looks like it was. It's mostly all the same. Apologize if the bitrate looks a little bit lower. It could be there was so much movement and action on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. There was just a lot on there. It's a hard zone. I've seen that zone happen many times before, and it's definitely a hard one. And the fact that there was just so many teams, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie The Warriors, where there's just like a big brawl of everyone fighting, but it's pretty crazy to see. Have I been maining her? Maybe. I think Valkyrie is in a pretty balanced place. She's not underpowered. She's not overpowered. And the fact that she has viability in a tournament, that she's even being utilized in the tournament that you're seeing for today of this caliber with so much money on the line, really holds a lot of value from what she can bring to the table. So I'm pretty excited to see that. But we'll see. We'll see where this puts her. So we have a 5-minute... Before we begin into the next round, this is a great moment for all of you guys to grab some snacks. Once the scoreboard is updated, let's break down what we see in the scoreboard. It is still being updated. Once it's fully updated, we'll break that down in just a moment. Great first day. If you're enjoying what you see, this was a pretty intense first round. I'm not gonna lie. It got pretty hectic there, especially towards the end of the zone. What can teams do better? What can you do in that sort of pressure situation? I mean, all you can really do is hold the outskirts and really hold the zone and don't go fighting for the center unless you're ready to really pick a fight. When you go push for the center, it's just a clear sign to say that person's there to take shots. As you saw, the biggest tactic that worked there was for Fennel really holding the angles. We did see, I believe it was GTS Black running the Caustic. Or was it good? It was GTS Black. I apologize if I'm mixing up the teams there. They're right next to each other in terms of what we're casting. But it's really brings up the power. Even though Caustic has stopping power with his gas, but is he really viable for a tournament of this caliber? He definitely bought them as much time as he possibly could, but the gas, even though you saw Pinot just come right around the corner and said, I don't care if there's gas. We're going to mop you up and clean up this fight as fast as possible. Should Caustic's gas really hold a lot more pressure there? I mean, it's really hard to say. And if we had a Watson in play there, would Watson be able to really hold off that team? That's also a heavier question to really see. Crazy, crazy round. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for being really interactive within the chat. That was a pretty crazy round. You guys have been really great. I love all of you guys for being so engaged and just having a conversation and being being a part. It means a whole lot. Everyone having a conversation, debate to see where competitive is really going. I think it's moments like this that really define the community and what you see competitive really building into. APAC has such a bright future, not even just the Battle Royale, but when we're even seeing on the arena side. And it really brings up a lot of questions as how far is APAC going to go and really... Oh, you know what we didn't see a whole lot of so far compared to yesterday? I just realized, as somebody mentioned in chat, I'm really surprised we haven't really taken notice of this. Crypto. Where was crypto? We didn't see a whole lot of them. We saw a lot of them yesterday, but I noticed a lot of teams, I guess because crypto can really kind of hold. We did see one crypto. Let's take a count on the next round to see how many cryptos that we see, because that's going to be a really big highlight that we should take note of. Or if Valkyrie's still going to be in this. There's games they're happening right now, Bruce. 5-minute delay. Boss Guy, appreciate you for being here, buddy. It's good to see you, man. Always appreciate seeing you in the stream and seeing you in the tournaments. We got stuff for next week as well, man. I'm enjoying the fact that we get to be here, a lot more consistency, right? Blue Lotus, that's a very solid point rotation. I argue Wraith is better for that, and scanning beacons, Bloodhound is way better. I think Valkyrie can just bring in a... Valkyrie loses her potential. She definitely can, jump on height. I would agree. I mean, Wraith is just a lot more comfortable for the rotation of what she can bring in terms of report for her whole squad. Now, I think Valkyrie is more of an edge comp. You want to hold the edge of the zone, pick fights, and get into fights. You don't want to get to the center of the zone immediately as a Valkyrie. I mean, because otherwise, where are you going to utilize her ultimate? You really don't have the ultimate to bring the power to her. But, and as well as for Bloodhound, I mean, he's got, they have free wall hacks. Bloodhound, they just bring so much in terms of information compared to, I mean, Bloodhound, they have the most information to provide to the squad. Literally can scream to the squad just how many are in the area and what is down below and whether you need to push or not. It gives you the immediate intel. It's why I put Bloodhound at S tier consistently in the tier list, and I think it's really matching from what we're seeing even in the tournament for today. I think a lot of the predictions are really coming into play. Valky's balance is a bow check upon release. I think she's got her strengths, but even as you're seeing, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make the team win immediately, especially at the end zone of what you're seeing competitive. So we're going into game 2, and don't worry, Tenzin, you can actually go right back and kind of view, because the first start of the round is a little slow, and we're going right now into game 2, ladies and gentlemen. Game 2. Game 2 of Apex Legends Global Series Championship. If you're just tuning in, 5-minute delay. Game 2. I do my best to interact with chat, to have a dialogue, have a conversation of what we're seeing. And let's get underway. I'm excited. I'm excited, guys. The matches are happening a lot faster, and we are underway. Let's see what changes we see. So we had 2 Valkyries from the last round. We only had... Let's see if we had a Crypto. We did have Reignite stick with their Pathfinder, as well as RXR Clover running their Pathfinder as well. GTS Black, looks like Good A Squad is sticking with the Valkyrie. Valkyrie did give them that initial scan. GTS Black sticking with the Valkyrie as well. Do we have any more Valkyries? Octane still making his presence, just as he did before from Ice Cream and Orthos Fang. Crazy Raccoon sticking with their usual comp. And it looks like we are all set and good to go. Man, coming in. Bloodhound, I mean, listen, Bloodhound, they bring a lot to the table. A lot to the table. Let's take a look where Fennel drops again. If they should stick with their usual spots, but we'll keep a close eye on everything that takes place in the tournament for today. Turn on highlights to make sure we can see exactly what is really taking place through the walls, so you can see where enemies are really at. Tenzin is asking a question, what happened to Captain? So what I've learned from yesterday, Captain unfortunately he's a content creator now for Crazy Raccoon, but he suffered from a wrist injury that really took him out of play from playing a lot more competitively. It's very unfortunate. Hopefully he comes back from it. Hopefully we see him back. He brings a lot of talent and skill to the table. Oh yeah, they weren't Fragment. They were Dome and Lava City around launch site, this whole area. Good 8 squad. There's no beacon in the area, so it looks like they didn't opt for the beacon. Let's take a look, see how Valkyrie is making a play. Let's see if Valkyrie is making some plays in rotation. It's interesting that GTS Black is running a Valkyrie with a Caustic. Let's talk about that for a moment. So Valkyrie, Caustic, there's a bit of contradiction in this comp, but it could spell really well, as you saw towards the end zone. Wow, look at that streamer loot. Free gold. A gold and a blue sitting in one spot. How lucky can you get? Okay, Valkyries, as we just mentioned, Valkyrie really benefits from taking the end zone, so you can utilize her for rotation and for information as you're flying in, because that's her ultimate. Caustic benefits from rotating into the zone right away. But there is synergy with Valkyrie and scanning beacons and going right to zone if you need to go into zone. So Caustic needs to be set up into the center of the zone as fast as possible. So I wonder, would Valkyrie here benefit better with a Wraith instead of a Caustic? I don't know. I mean, this composition is still so new. Valkyrie is still new into the meta, so there's still the heavy question of what Valkyrie should be run with. I personally think a Valkyrie with a Gibraltar and a Wraith has a lot of rotation ability, just a lot of rotation. Rotation power whenever you're close within the zone, and rotation power whenever you are outside of zone. So 2 quick rotational moves for the team. There's a lot of power there. A lot of good synergy, something that kind of picks up. But it doesn't mean that Caustic isn't viable here. There's still just so much to be discussed and also to be learned from what we're seeing from this comp. No damage has been taking place in the lobby, by the way. I'm checking. Not a single bit of damage has also taken place. It's going to lag for just a second. I just need to pull up my listing. There we go. I have my teams on the left. I just want to make sure I have my listing of squads, so whenever I'm breaking through back and forth. You could tell this zone is pulling on the left side. We do have a benefit of T1. T1 definitely gets a benefit of their gold armors consistently from trials. They split lava fissure as well. This has pulled on the upper left side of the map, and I'm curious if it's going to pull there again. We'll see. Only time is really going to tell with that. Parka has switched out the Octane and started running the Wraith. Probably questioning if the Octane was a Wraith in that last gunfight, if they were able to probably find their spacing within the building. So it's interesting for them to kind of switch things up here. Obley has always made a fantastic Bloodhound for his squad as well. Let's take a look at Fennel. They have a really long rotation. They're definitely going to be taking the edge of the zone here. We're going to have to see how that decides to shape up and play out. So it looks like GTS Black is already going more towards the center of the zone. And we'll see where they can find their footing and their positioning. No damage done in the lobby, FYI. I'm checking consistently. Not a single bullet has hit a target. There might have been some shots, but nothing has connected quite yet. And the minute that it does, I mean, we'll be sure. And oh, there goes the rotation. We're seeing the Valkyrie ult in play, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. They're trying to take the information to see where things are located. And they're flying over immediately to a team. This is a ballsy move by Good 8 Squad. This is going for an aggro approach. Is this aggro play going to be worth it, though? Is this going to net them some KP that they're looking for? They did manage to snag this building from them, though, so it looks like it did work. The team from outside, Jupiter Vega, lost their footing on this building. They have the north side. That's not a bad spot to play either. Not a bad spot at all. But Good A Squad finding some healthy positioning. Like I mentioned, I've seen this pull on the north side, and I think they're predicting that it's going to end there. But the Valkyrie ult has already come into play. I don't think they would have gotten that for free by having to rotate. The fast Valkyrie rotation was able to get them right into it, and Jupiter Vega was not able to really contest that. So it's interesting to see Valkyrie's ult. I mean, she's not overpowered. She's not underpowered. I think... Oh, are we seeing another... Was that another Valkyrie team? Really? Okay, all right. 2 Valkyrie teams already knowing where it's going to pull. They have the lower part of there and the denial of what we're talking about from Caustic. I mean, that definitely solidifies them at the bottom part of this building just to kind of hold and wait. Literally, both the Valkyrie teams took the lower area and also the upper area of this single building. I think everyone has seen this pull here many times before. I've seen this pull so many times. It's gonna be funny if it actually doesn't pull here. But the fact that they're already kind of holding up the bottom and the upper area, it's interesting. Interesting. Let's see how Crazy Raccoon's handling their rotation. No Valkyrie here, but they do have the power of just being the ultimate squad that they are. A lot of talent here, a lot of skill within this roster. They got a little bit of an uphill battle. We don't see any fights. Not a single. I can't believe it. Are we sure? Okay, there we go. This is the first amount of damage that's taken place in the lobby, ladies and gentlemen. 3 damage. We're seeing a game of patience. Not a single team is really contesting or really fighting. But yeah, this is apparently the most damage that's been done in the lobby. Only 3 damage. 21 damage now. Staying corrected, commentator's curse. Very interesting to see just how patient teams are playing. Oh, there we go. There's a fight. 310 damage already taking place here. He got a lot of damage very quickly there. A nice little spike. He ran right into that. Reignite, sticking with the Pathfinder. Pathfinder is your best friend. They do have a building here that is free. Let's take a look. 788 has always stayed consistent with the Pathfinder. It's very well known for being an amazing Pathfinder, bringing a lot of utility as Pathy. I love seeing Pathfinder in play. When you have a good Pathfinder, they just bring so much to the table. Let's take a look at Crazy Raccoon. They have a long rotation in. They're probably one of the ones, as well as Fennel, kind of edging zone. It's interesting that the teams like that are playing Valkyrie are not edging zone, but also just taking the opportunity to go right in. They're not really fighting the edges, and no fights are really breaking out. Team Unite might break out into a potential fight here, as well as T1 might break out into a potential fight as well. They do have height. There's a lot of questions to be asked here. Lots of questions. I also question why we haven't seen as many fights breaking out as we are used to.
Target spotted.
Lots of teams fighting over buildings, but nobody's really connecting. 60 players remain in the lobby, and if we're going to have a rinse and repeat of last round if this happens again. Solid amount of damage with the charge rifle. Charge rifle Charlie. Looks like Davin is really connecting his charge rifle shots, but he is running low on ammo. Does find a little bit on the ground there. Jupiter Vegas holding the north side. Crazy Raccoon running right into Unite here, but their armor situation is not looking too hot. They definitely need some momentum here. Crazy Raccoon, once they build momentum, let me tell you, we all know what they can pull off in this lobby. And the reason I'm keeping an eye on them right now is because they look like they're going to be the one team that's getting picked on from every angle. And unfortunately, I don't really know how much there's the bubble. Can buy them a little time to get the Phoenix out. They're really struggling to find their footing. There's the Phoenix. His Q is on CD, so he's got to be careful. He's got wide armor. He's getting picked on. They see the crack. They see that he's flush. There's no way that they would drop on him, but this is definitely an uncomfortable situation for them. Looks like Team Lag is already going into a pretty early fight here. Let's take a look at their POV. They are recovering. We'll go back to Crazy Raccoon, but it looks like they are recovering. It looks like they're okay for the most part at the moment. T1 getting into a gunfight. We'll switch over their POV. They did get a knock. It looks like it was mostly from height. Scanning down below, trying to see what they can do. Let's take a look at Crazy Raccoon, how they're handling their positioning. They're holding the center of this building. As predicted, it looks like this is pulling on the north side. Things are going to get really hectic, guys. We're going to do our best to hold, of course, as much action as we can possibly see. But it's going to be very difficult to do so. The reason is that as the zone does close and we see a lot of the pressure, let's take a look at Fennel. Fennel was our first place team from before. And we'll see how much they hold together here. This is going to be hard because there's going to be a lot of fights that break out all at once. I promise you we're going to see all the fights happen in about 15 seconds. And it's going to be really hard to track everything that's going to happen at once. It's literally all going to happen simultaneously. Momon was our star of the prior round. Let's see if he becomes the star that we all know him to be. Looks like they're rotating. I'm not really sure if we're going to see a lot of action here. Crazy Raccoon still holding the lower area while T1 holds the height right above them. Take a look at the Valkyrie teams. They're just kind of chilling in the building, but not really contesting anything. About to see a lot of fights break out, ladies and gentlemen. This is where what we are here to watch. This is where we're kind of waiting to see all the action take place. Team Unite, there's a lot of angles being held. At one point yesterday, we saw 14 teams at the start of the zone. And now it's closing, and we still have 20 squads remaining. FL finding their rotation in. They're not contested at the moment. Looks like everything is hunky-dory and everything's good for them. Let's take a look at A2. Rootsy has always been a very prime player. He's got a lot of wingman shots. I've seen him connect his wingman shots. He was an absolute monster with the wingman yesterday. Just snagging headshots left and right. He destroyed FLK yesterday. His wingman is something to be feared, and the fact that he's got 234 bullets? Sheesh. You know what I mean? I mean, literally all he's got is a wingman at the moment. He's getting some shots in, taking some damage, unfortunately. They're a little low in resources, which is why I think he gave up. Oh my gosh, if he didn't get that heal off, it was definitely going to spell death for them. Crazy Raccoon still holding their angle. We still have all of these teams. How are everyone is finding their spacing? Everyone's playing so respectfully. But any moment, I mean, really, Team Unite has to be careful here because they're gonna have to take this fight. They are gonna have to take this fight in just a moment here. Team Unite potentially gonna be one of the first teams to get into a brawl here. There's a scan for information. Trying to figure out where the enemies are located, but he's getting picked on from a distance, and that is from T1 on the left side. Reignite also getting a knock on CVA from a distance. Unite needs to keep this together. If they can mop this up, this could be huge for them. They get a nice initial amount of damage there, but is it going to be enough? And it is. He does get the knock. F-Twine cleaning up his roster. We got a 2v2 fight. Let's see if he managed to clutch this out. Gets a solid arc star to buy himself some time and keep them in that bubble. But is it enough to keep them in the bubble? That's really the question that we need to ask here. Get some solid massive damage. Is it going to be enough? And it is. And now we got a solid 1v1. Can he clean this up? He needs to watch out from a distance. Is there potentially going to be another fight? T1 Obley looking at the angle, trying to see if he can clean that up. Unfortunately, does not have an angle there. And Team Unite sitting pretty comfortable. Let's take a look at Crazy Raccoon as they're getting into a fight, knocking some teams from a distance. And this is the Valkyrie team, I believe, that they're picking on. It is not, actually. Who did they get their knock on? I saw it was on Fang. They're pushing right up, and it looks like they're sitting pretty good here. They're putting the pressure. Here we go. This is what we're all looking for. Ras trying to get the angle. He already threw out his scan. He's got the intel. Let's see if he can surprise them by taking height. He's not able. He's just trying to climb right alongside here. But unfortunately, does get cracked. And he's getting picked on, and that is not what you need to see happen for this fight. We now have an unfortunate 2v1. Zetter does get a nice R301 spray. Trying to recover. He is getting pushed. And now it is up to Selly to clutch this out. Can Selly clutch this out? We also have a major fight also taking place. And now we got a solid 1v1. Selly, unfortunately, does not manage to clutch it out, but it was so close. Let's take a look at Fennel as well. And let's take a look at T1 that did manage to fight off T1. I mean, they managed to survive. They didn't necessarily fight them off, but that was a fight from a distance. They do have somebody on height. T1 is trying to keep at bay this team. They throw out their ult to find some positioning. A bunch of fights are all taking place right now. This is getting pretty crazy. It's unfortunate that T1... Crazy Raccoon is having a rough start, ladies and gentlemen. Selly almost clutched it out. He almost got that... And it looks like Team Unite is also getting knocked out from the ring. Crazy Raccoon is just having a hard time finding their footing. This is a very talented roster. They know what they're doing. They just weren't. They kind of got caught out there from that Gibby ult. That Gibby ult really swayed it in the favor of the other team. It's really unfortunate to see. Fang's team held it together, or excuse me, Magical's team held it together as they were to keep them off. And Unite looks like they are getting picked on from a distance. F-Twine is the kill leader of the lobby, but all he can really do is just, just live all alone in this poor little bubble. Oh, hold on, let's go right back to T1. T1's already fighting off a team. The door does close. They get a lot of nade damage. This is perfect for them to really make a push once that bubble does disappear. Once the bubble disappears, and the arc stars are going to start flying. Ready? They're waiting for it. They have their bubble to make a push. There it is. There's the arc stars to buy themselves some time back. They do manage to get the clutch. There, unfortunately, does take a bit of damage. They do have 2 gold armor, so they're able to find themselves right back into play. Look at them fly right back up. Fennel, unfortunately, our star leaders did get wiped from RXR Clover. RXR Clover has been knocking a lot of the main teams out of the lobby pretty early on. T1 looking like they're finding their positioning. RXR, let's go back over to their POV in just a hot second here. Let's go switch back over to, there's Reignite. Reignite looks like they switched over from RXR Clover. And we'll get their POV in just a second. There they go. So Kanata looks like he is holding his own up here. They do have a rough rotation, and it's about to get spicy. Who is our kill leader of the lobby? So the most amount of damage comes from Magical. Let's go right back over to them, and let's take a look. So Clover, let's see how they make the rotation in. They knocked out Fennel, which was our top squad from before, but can they keep their composure together? And there's all the ports that we all seen. This has been a very tight day in terms of spacing and positioning. Is definitely screaming for the port. Took a lot of damage, a little bit too much damage, but they do have a wall here, and they need to find their spacing in. Let's just hover along with Clover and see how they manage to find their footing. This is going to be an absolute nightmare for all of these teams trying to find their spots. Can Kanata find his spacing? He takes his Pathfinder Q, but unfortunately it's not enough. T1, oh my gosh, we're seeing non-stop teams all fight. Let's go right back over to T1's POV, but it looks like they're already knocked from the lobby. We're seeing multiple teams all getting knocked left and right. The amount of teams that just got all knocked has been astronomical. A2 Esports, let's take a look at these POV. We had so many teams all collapse-modding each other. It's the fact that Thief is holding his angle here as much as he can, and he does get knocked, and that's it for them. GTS Black, they're all sitting pretty comfortably in here. Ice Cream about to get knocked as well, and Jupiter Vega holding their angle here. I know we're switching a lot of POVs, but listen, ladies and gentlemen, there's been non-stop teams. They all collapsed on top of each other all at once. It's just been absolute mayhem. All fighting left and right. Reignite holding their own, just going for the Gibby bubble fights, trying to find their angles, trying to swap armors, but it's not enough. Reignite, the Pathfinder, just struggling, flying in the air like a crazy trapeze, trying to find a spacing. We only have a few squads left remaining, and it looks like the teams that are really benefiting are the two teams holding the building, holding the angle of both the Valkyries. The Valkyries are the teams that are really benefiting from this whole situation. What an absolute cluster that was. That wasn't even, I wouldn't even call that abilities. That was just straight up gunfights and based on sheer positioning and spacing. My God. That I have casted a lot of tournaments, but I have to say the amount of teams that just fought there that all just died instantaneously was astronomical. We went from 18 squads down to 5 squads within literally less than about a minute. I don't even think a minute passed. I don't think I can speak fast enough to even talk about what exactly happened all there. To sum it up, everyone just, again, had a fist fight in the middle of nowhere with Gibby bubbles left and right and praying to God that they could get into the zone. Let's take a look at the team that's going to be outside of the skirts. This is the team that has the hardest rotation. Let's see if they can manage to get in. And there is the jump pad in, getting lasered throughout the air. They do have the bubble. The bubble did connect. And he does have a self-revive, but is it going to be enough? He's got 77 damage. And Davin trying to just hold his angle here, which is what you need to see when they're holding the angles. I didn't mean to switch over from Davin's point of view. Can Davin hold this together? They are the kill leader of the lobby. In that circumstance, next time we'll be sure just to stick on the kill leader, on who's got the most amount of damage, and Jupiter Vega does have the outskirts. Jupiter Vega has every opportunity to really win this, as long as they hold it together. They play this if they play this patiently, Jupiter Vega has a center. We're going to watch their POV because Jupiter Vega, as long as they do not throw, this is their tournament. This is their round, excuse me. Both the other two have to leave the building. So we'll hold here, and we'll watch to see if Jupiter Vega will either throw this or win this. And there they go fighting. I know they're going to fight in there, but Jupiter Vega, as long as they don't get greedy. Don't get greedy, guys. Come on, hold it together. Let them fight. Let them fight. Don't get too greedy on this. Patience, patience. Don't get in the center. I'm over here rooting for them at this point because they
as long as they don't get greedy. Okay, they got the information. They're good. They're good. They got this. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They're holding it. They're retreating when they need to. Listen, if they got into the mix of it too early, it would just spell death for all of them. They have literally the center here, and the zone is closing. As long as they don't overextend and get too greedy, they are going to be completely set up to take first place. I know they want the KP, and they need that scan. They got the scan in 2 seconds. They have to pull towards them. This is theirs for the taking, and there's a scan to get it out for them. As long as they hold it together, they just got to wait. They literally have to pull towards them. There's a Valkyrie trying to get some initial damage. That was not necessarily the play. It took way too much damage, and there's the bubble, and now they have a nice 3v3 fight with the bubble and the Gibby ult there for them. The Valkyrie did have gold armor, so I guarantee she's going to be primed and ready for this fight. And there it is. Banana Star does have the angle, and he's going to clean this up, and that's a GG's. Jupiter Vega takes the win. They may not had a lot of KP, but they played it patiently, and they waited for it. Pretty good fight, ladies and gentlemen. That is game 2. Game 2, and we'll take a look at the scoreboard in just a moment. That was crazy. Honestly. That was crazy to see the amount of pressure from the zone. I can understand the frustration that a lot of pro players are having there. It's a hard zone to fight. It's commendable, the effort made on all ends. It's absolute mayhem to find where's the positioning. Where can you fight for? What ledges do you even utilize to fight for that type of spot? So they did manage to get 5 plus 12, so 17 total points go to Jupiter Vega. And unfortunately, again, we see in 19th place. Listen, Crazy Raccoon can definitely pull it together, but this has been a rough day for them so far. Definitely been a rough day, and we'll take a look at that scoreboard in just a moment. Let's switch over. This is going to be game 3, ladies and gentlemen. Game 3. All right, I'm going to get into the lobby here of this next round. This is game 3. We'll refresh and we'll break down the scores. We'll look at the last scores from the last round, and as they update, we'll talk about some of the changes that really happened, okay? All right, we are, ladies and gentlemen, in game 3. Everyone is connecting into the lobby. Let's take a look at that scoreboard and break this down, shall we? All right, so the prior scores, what we're looking at before. Vanel was in first place prior with 24 total points, as well as RXR Clover in second with 12 points, and Warby in third with 11. This definitely drops down quite a few of the teams. You know, Jupiter Vega did place first place, so they're going to bump up here in just a moment from what you're going to see. Pretty high up in the leaderboards from taking first place there. It's not going to be enough to push out FL necessarily, but it is going to be quite the bit of a shift there. We know Crazy Raccoon had a really rough time that last round, so they're going to be dropping a little bit further down in the scoreboard. This is not what they're accustomed to. This is not what they're most comfortable with. But listen, there's still many rounds left, and they can literally win back to back to back and climb right up. We've seen it happen before. We've seen it happen before, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're a Crazy Raccoon fan, don't lose hope for them and keep the positive energy and vibes for them. There's a lot of teams really spiking up, such as Jupiter Vega. We see the Valkyrie teams really make a presence. They really held their own, and they really held the center of the zone based on information that they had. Let's hit refresh and take a look at that scoreboard. Okay, I'm going to let this fully update. Let's switch back over to the screen for game 3, and then we'll break things down in just a moment once everything is all situated. All right. Just as a reminder, again, yeah, everyone has to make sure to play passive when it comes to playing competitive. You really have to play the zone. You can't necessarily just go in and just be able to aimbot or just shoot everyone, because even if you had an aimbot in the situation, it's not gonna win. It's not gonna help you. It doesn't matter. Everyone here has solid aim. Everyone knows what they're doing. It all relies on positioning and where they're going to take their angles in their fights. most of the people that you see, and just a reminder, you should never run an aimbot or anything, or do anything of that nature. And the reason why is that you're losing out on all the information of you teaching you how to play the video game. It should be condemned heavily, anybody who ever decides to run an aimbot or cheat ever in a video game. But it just showcases on a very high-end and skill level that they won't make it, especially when you see positioning being key and being so important in a lobby. They'll lack all game sense. It's why these lobbies are so difficult and so hard to predict. And even as a commentator casting, you'll see when the chaos ensued, it's very hard to predict. Within seconds, you have to be right within seconds. There's literally a second-to-second action there to predict what in the world is going to happen and where things are going to play out. It's a bit of a guessing game. You know, most of the time you kind of get it right. Sometimes you don't always get it right. So let's break down the scores as they have been fully updated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is very much deserved from ORF, taking first place with 26 points. FL unfortunately got knocked out pretty early in 17th place with 0 points, so that's not looking pretty good for them. Warby is keeping consistent, as well as RXR Clover. They had a hard rotation, and when we were watching them, just as an FYI, remember the amount of teams that went from, I think it was around 16, 17, they got 14th place from that mix of what we saw. That was chaos that ensued non-stop there. And let me see, there was an update and a change on the website, so I want to make sure that we capture that. Okay. But RXR Clover really tried their best to keep it together and rotate in, but they did get a solid 3 KP. We are seeing teams that are towards the bottom of the list that are not as comfortable being in their position. We see Crazy Raccoon in 13th place, and we even see T1 in 17th place. But again, fear not, these are teams that know exactly how to really push this out. Jupiter Vega needs to push up as well. We'll see the scoreboard update in just a moment. That's something to really highlight. The changes are still happening within the scoreboard and they'll be finalized in just a moment. We'll discuss it again once all things are updated. Let me hit refresh. Okay, Jupiter Vega does shoot up here. All right, let's break this down again. Updated refresh. ORF, like we mentioned, very much deserved. FL taking second place with 24 points. Jupiter Vega in third place with 18 points. They took first place. They only had 5 KP, but it was enough to boost them up from where they were at before. Warby in fourth place. RXR Clover in fifth place. Lag in sixth place. We are seeing again T1 and Crazy Raccoon definitely need to make a push. Unite. All these teams that you're seeing down here know how to play the game and are extremely talented. They know what they're doing. They'll pull it together, and we're gonna see these scoreboards with the next round shift. So don't worry. This is still anyone's game. This is still very early on, and there's not much to worry about here. Especially, even if anybody would be tilted about their positioning here, they can definitely clutch this out and pull it together. Just one solid win. I've literally seen Crazy Raccoon come out with 17 kills in second place. That'll literally boost them up all the way to third place immediately within that round. So anything can really happen here. And I think it's important to really highlight that. So now we're going to go into game 3 in just a moment. Be sure to grab yourself some water. Don't forget to leave a like on the stream, and let's interact with everyone in chat. Eaton, it's great to have you here. You can click back on the VOD as well to check things out. Who won was Jupiter Vega. They've got first place. How do I donate for a YouTube channel? You don't have to donate, but it's very much appreciated. There is the super chats that you can. But good morning everybody who is tuning in. Preston, it's great to have you here. The zone has definitely been the pressure point for everyone as well. The pressure point has been the zones. Catching up with everyone in chat. Let's give a shout out to everyone who's here. Appreciate all of you guys for being here. FAAC, great to have you here. One Clip, thank you so much for the kind words. I really much appreciate you for being here. Potato as well, thank you so much. Sarab, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much, buddy. Eaton, Dedo, appreciate all of you guys. I'm so bossy was here earlier. Potato Grimes, thank you so much, man. GG's in the last round for everyone. GG's all around, very respectable round. NA's on June 2nd, correct. So this is APAC North. When is the NA turning? June 2nd. Yeah, 13 squads literally in 1 minute. It was a crazy ring there. I know what to do for the next time if we see that intense of a round, so we can capture who's on the edge. We'll make sure to capture who's on the edge, kind of cleaning things up for the next round. So once we see the cluster happening, I know what to do for next round to make sure that we see everything. But don't forget to leave a like. We got 1 minute until we go into the next round here, and I appreciate all of you guys for being a part. This is what competitive is all about. This is what it's all about. All right, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we see the lobby shift. Let's see how teams decide to change up their compositions. It looks like Valkyrie, the information that they were getting and the rotations that they had were really key to really getting that building on the upper left knowing there. All right, guys. Next round, game 3. We're almost halfway through the tournament. Very solid plays. Now on the screen here, we're going to see if anyone changes up their composition. So the first selections are about to go out. First selections are in play. No massive changes there. Everyone's kind of running the consistency that we kind of saw before. See more Wraiths coming into play. The Valkyrie is still consistent from what we're seeing. And there we have it. We have still 2 Valkyries in play. Don't see Crypto. Crypto has been very absent from this tournament. We have 1 Crypto team. 1 Self is running Crypto.
This is your champion.
Bloodhound has been making a splash, still consistently in the tournament. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look. Let's see how teams are going to handle their situations here. Make sure to pause that music so to ensure you guys can hear all the audio in game. Everyone's kind of rotating to their normal spots.
This might be a good place to land.
They do have a big pull here.
Let's explore this way.
So teams are going to the initial spot. Valkyrie is fantastic for at least seeing where teams are going to land initially. Definitely a powerhouse even when it comes to ranked. The bubble's going to be thrown across. Boom. There's the bubble's a little short, so hopefully it doesn't get shot. Looks like they're good. Imagine if that caused for an early knock. That would not be comfortable. Whole different zone that we're seeing. This is definitely playing in Fennell's favor. Once they've already scanned that beacon. Momon's already in the center over here. And that's looking pretty good for them. Crazy Raccoon, this is looking pretty good for them as well. Having a little bit of a different rotation, not having to get caught out. T1 has got a long rotation to get in as well. This is interesting to see for T1, so let's discuss this.
Let's check out this way.
T1 had the zone in their favor, but they were a little bit unlucky in terms of how they got pushed. They really had a hard fight, and I think if they played a little bit more passively and maybe caught more of the rotation, maybe they would have gotten a little bit luckier. They've definitely split a lot of this. They usually land Lava Fissure, but it looks like Jupiter Vega has been landing Lava Fissure, kind of taking it from them, but they are splitting Countdown. And they are getting 2 gold armors from this. Parka is definitely going to be getting a gold armor once they finish this off. Not a whole lot of damage is really taking place, but we'll watch T1 as they kind of clean up these, look at that nice little spray. Need to reload. He's got a nice cleanup here. Look at that precision. Nice purple armor, free. They got 1 more to finish here. They're taking some initial shots over at A2. They do need to rotate, but T1 has always been known for the late rotation. They're not afraid to edge the zone, and they're not afraid to get into a fight. The only downside is when they get a little bit unlucky on some of their positioning. That accuracy is just always on point. Look at that. Let's see what gold item got. Oh, look at that. Gold bag, gold helm, all across the board. Obley just needs to come over and grab that purple, and they're going to be sitting pretty good. Their armor situation is always looking pretty sharp. It's just a matter if they can get into zone and get the rotation in. It makes you wonder if a team like T1 would benefit from more of a Valkyrie, so they can just shoot across the sky immediately. But they're extremely talented in the lineup that they're running. So there's really not much of a question of it. It's just more of a curiosity. If they ran Valkyrie. It kind of brings a smile to my face because I wonder how much, because they edge. They're extremely skilled at edging. They have the talent for even taking the center of the zone, and they know how to take their fights. That I wonder if Valkyrie can solve some of the late rotations that they have. So right now they would literally have their ult almost up for the Valkyrie. Here in just about like 1 more minute, they'll have a Valkyrie ult that they can utilize to go fly right in. So I wonder if they had that. Wait a minute, what is going on here? What is happening? Crazy Raccoon's already getting into a fight? Already early on with Fennel? And Selly is already down, and Zedder's they're already at a massive disadvantage in this gunfight. And they are already disadvantaged in terms of the armor. Looks like Fennel's dropping right on them. This is not what they are looking for. My gosh, has that have to be extremely frustrating for Crazy Raccoon. This has not been their day. This is already 3 rounds in, and Fennel trying to find their positioning and footing, trying to be careful. There's the Q to get them right back up. Fennel getting the points that they need. Fennel is already going to be claiming that more dominant first place spot. Knocking out Crazy Raccoon this early? Seeing Crazy Raccoon knocked out this early in 20th place is not what I'm used to seeing. And I guarantee I can feel the frustration there. Like, I can already feel it, and it's understandable, and it's so relatable understanding why they were not looking up on the armor situation, and they were just trying to find there's kind of a shocking turn of events there, not gonna lie. I don't know what to think about all that. That was pretty shocking. I saw the knock, especially the 2 teams that were involved. That's out of the norm. That's not the norm. For all those Crazy Raccoon fans, just understand that this is not the end for them. They still have 3 rounds to kind of pull it together, and it doesn't mean that this is it. They have pulled together large kill games before, and they have pulled ahead with a massive number. Let's take a look. Good 8 squad already making a pretty big clutch here. Knocking ORF. GTS Black is already pretty much in the center. Valkyrie already making a play pretty early on here.
Let's scope this quadrant out here. Close door here.
There is a lot of damage taking place. Let's take a look at who the kill leader is. It still looks like it's Fennel. Take a look at T1, and they got the long rotation in. I don't anticipate a lot of teams are going to fight. I'm pulling at the map so you understand. When teams are left in the center, as you saw before, what T1? About to roll up on a squad here. Good thing we switched over to this POV, excuse me. Nice movement by Koran here. Got that Gibby movement. Listen, a Gibby can move. Don't ever sleep on a Gibby movement. And there's the port to buy themselves a little bit more positioning, a little bit more time. Unite's right above them. They really got their goal is to get into zone. They just have to get into zone. I really can't help but to really think for T1, Valkyrie might be a solid solution. I wonder if next week if we'll start to see teams start to make that adjustment. There's the bubble out. Got to just recover. T1 getting picked on. I don't like to see T1 getting picked on. It's not good for. It's not been good for T1 and Crazy Raccoon today. They got to get out. They got to find their footing. The zone is going to start to push pressure. Unite is not letting them go for free. Say it once, say it again. Could we have a Valkyrie that could make and break this type of rotation in? Or would it just make it worse? I ask chat, what do you guys think about having a Valkyrie in this type of situation? If you change out the Valkyrie, let's break this down. If you were to change out the Valkyrie for a Wraith, you lose your port, which you were seeing there as a rotational tool. If you replace the Valkyrie with the Bloodhound, you instantly lose the scans, which you saw that they caught up the team on. If you change the Valkyrie out for the Gibraltar, you're instantly losing out on the bubble, which saved the Gibraltar. So Valkyrie, would that rotation be enough to trade out anything that they use to get them out of dodge there? Or would it have avoided that circumstance and situation altogether? Big questions need to be asked there. And it looks like the most amount of damage is still done by Pinot. We do have teams edging, still waiting to get into zone, waiting to get in rotation here. Things have kind of gotten a little quiet in the lobby again. Things are really going to pick up at the end, but I know once it gets chaotic, I'll do my best to kind of pick up on the kill leader. See who's doing the most damage in the lobby. Look, wow. That was a nice little transition there, if I do say so myself. You got a nice little kunai spin right into another kunai spin. It was very nice. That was pretty cool to see. This is the one crypto in the lobby that you can see. Kind of get our eye in the sky, if you will. The drone does get taken out. Oneself is running one of the one cryptos in the lobby. Good at squad is still kind of sitting in the center comfortably, while GTS Black is holding the south side. This is going to be a launch site ending. I've seen it kind of pull here on the south side. I believe that's where it's going to pull. I'm pulling the map to see where the next gunfight is going to potentially take place. I believe it's going to take place at Jupiter Vega and T1 here. This is going to be the prediction fight. Jupiter Vega is down one team, and Team Unite's about to roll up on them. I think Jupiter Vega has been in a tight spot. Jupiter Vega had a really good round. They're currently sitting in third place. The question is, will they be able to keep it and hold it together being down one? Or is it going to be too much? Here's T1 making the rotation end. The question is, are they going to go into this gunfight? They do have a 3v2 situation. They could get some KP. They are down in terms of their armor situation. But they could easily clutch this out and negate this. Obly popping his bat. And here we go. Let's see if they manage to get this out. And there's the port for positioning. Unfortunately, does get hit immediately by the ult. Unfortunate timing on that part. Took a little bit of unnecessary damage, which means that the team is now down below them, and it got away. That ult came in clutch for them, but are they going to make sure that they leave? They do not have the port now to get them down below. The port was there to initially get the rotation to get the fight in, but now it feels like the port was essentially wasted. And here they are, the scan. This is what we're talking about. Who do you trade the Valkyrie with? Because that scan is keeping their eyes on this team. Now, will T1 jump down on them? Will they stay up top? If they stay up top, well, the biggest thing we have to ask ourselves, if they stay up top, they are going to hold this angle, hold this position. They drop down, they could have potential KP, but then the other team may pick on them from a distance. T1 does need some KP, and this is an isolated fight for the most part. They do not have their port or the free rotation. They will have it whenever the zone closes. All right, let's take a look. CVA is already getting into a gunfight. You're going to lag for just a second. I need to pull up my list here. I apologize for the lag that you're seeing on screen. The lag is gone, and we're perfectly fine. I just need to take a look here at the current gunfight that's taking place, and I just needed to pull my roster list to see all the numbers, and there it is. Mastiff shots only hitting for, you know, the dreaded 7 and 22 damage. Not the damage you're looking for. These aren't the joys you're looking for. Can CVA hold us together from Werribee? Werribee is currently in 4th place. Taking way too much damage from charge rifles, and Werribee is making the full rotation all the way around. Oneself making the rotation, and Werribee running up right behind them. They do have a gold armor. There they go, flying up in the air, and he's going to get knocked midair if he's not... Oh my gosh, he got so lucky on that. That was definitely lucky. I mean, he was literally probably a few shots away from death. That could have been the end for them.
Might be something good this way.
Kill leader is still the current roster that we're seeing here. Let's take a look at Team Unite. Looks like they're fighting right outside of zone. They're going for that early KP here. They're pushing right out from Jupiter Vega. They know this is a 3v2, and they want to take this fight. This is the fight that T1 was looking at before, and they did scan over to the right to see where they're at. And there it is. There's the cleanup. This is the fight that T1 was looking for, but unfortunately was not able to get. Now T1 is breaking into a current fight, trying to push this current building over on this angle. We'll take a look at FL in just a moment as well, making sure that we're not missing any of that action. FL looks like they're sitting comfortably in the center of the zone, so we're going to switch back over to T1 as they breach this building. Parka's taking lead, taking point as a Wraith should. Looks like they all left the building. Looks like they left it, which means that T1 could really hold this, but T1 has just been not finding their fights, and they do take reignite out from a distance here. They do have a longbow, which is a lot more effective and competitive than you would see in any casual round. I know everyone sleeps on the longbow, but for competitive, it's really powerful. It's a slept-on weapon. And they got to secure that kill, and there it is. At least they get their 1 KP right into the round. FL taking some early shots. They're catching a team out of rotation here. Momon taking some early flatline shots. They do catch a team out of rotation. This is one of our star teams at the moment. Looking pretty good. We need to take a look at ORF as well. They're just kind of holding and vibing. This is our first place team. They deserve a lot of credit as well for the hard work that they're doing. Right now they are down 1, and they haven't really got into any gunfights. It's just why I haven't really been taking a look at what they've been doing. Because they only have 68 damage in, and all they're doing is just kind of biding their time and waiting for the right opportunity to strike. Oh, good timing on Fennell, coming in with a G7 Scout. Very nice shots. Good switch over there. G7 Scout making some big plays here. The armor is leveled up. The damage is going out. Trying not to overextend on this, but waiting patiently enough to get the damage in. They do know that somebody has to rotate in from the edge, and this could be some free KP from FL. Look at the G7 Scout shots, all connecting, all making their shots, except for the ones there. Commentator's Curse. I was hoping it would be literally just lasering, but unfortunately it isn't connecting the shots at the end there, and they're getting all their KP stolen from all the other teams on the lobby. FL is looking for these KP points. They do know the team is down below. I could just imagine the urge just to push that to get their points in. We still have the kill leader of the lobby still being Fennell at the moment. Let's take a look at T1, make sure how they're doing as they rotate in. Unite is knocking A2. Brucey's trying to recover here. Unite getting into a pretty solid gunfight. They are recovering, but it looks like the EVA shots are missing due to the bubble being in the way. And the A2 does get the solid cleanup, but is it going to be enough for them to rotate out and find their positioning? They are getting picked on from T1 from a distance here, as well as their T1 is also taking another fight from down below. There's the Valkyrie ult! Can they get away? Can they take him out mid-air? Let's take a look at the POV from the Valkyrie. My gosh, she was literally one. I can't believe the Valkyrie ult actually got them out. And they are about to get into a fight down below here. The caustic gas isn't going to be enough. They do see them. This is by the... Oh my gosh, and there it is! I'm just holding my breath as I'm watching some of those 30-30 repeater shots go out. They are flush. I can't believe a Valkyrie ult just popped off like that. He was literally one shot away from being absolutely decimated and destroyed, but now they're getting picked on from up above from a whole different team. That was a solid rotation in, but now they're getting picked on from T1 rolling up right up on them. T1 coming in for the nice sweep and solid points. That was pretty sick to see, the Valkyrie really coming in clutch there. And there's the cleanup on GTS. Unfortunately, the Valkyrie ult was powerful, but not enough to really hold their footing of what they were looking for. Fennell has every power position here. They really dominate their portion of the whole building as a whole here. Take a look at T1 starts to breach another building. There's the Arc Star gophering the initial damage out. Another Arc Star. The Gibby ult is there to put some pressure to tell them to back off, but are they going to back off? They do have the Gibby bubble to buy themselves some positioning if they need it, but it looks like they don't need it at the moment. They do have the armor situation. They do have the benefit. They are seeing that they are rolling blues. And it's just a question if they're going to roll up on them. Let me turn on those highlights so you can see them through the wall there. They're just lasering from a distance. Lasering. There's a cleanup from Pinot. Let's switch over to their POV. It looks like they're getting to a solid fight here. FL is looking really sharp. Let's keep an eye on FL because this is a team that's about to potentially take first place in the tournament. If they keep this together, they have the most kills currently in the lobby, and they have every power position here. Let's see what they do here in this situation, and if they overextend or if they play patiently and hold the edge. And we'll also switch over to T1, who has not... T1 has the hardest rotation versus FL, who has the easiest rotation here. So we have two teams that we need to ping back and forth from. Two different angles here, if you will. If you're watching, you can see the angle from the left side where FL has all the power play, and then you have T1 that's really got the struggle point to really get in. FL just kind of holding it together. Let's switch over to Momon's POV. He seems to be popping off. Actually, Pino seems to be getting the most amount of damage here. He's got the momentum. Let's see if he keeps it up. T1 just trying to recover here in the open, and they do have the zone to worry about. That zone is going to truck in a moment. But now looking pretty good. They have height. They have every opportunity to win this. They have every opportunity. T1 has the hardest rotation. Meanwhile, FL has the easiest rotation. FL picking on him from a distance. I don't know if T1's going to be able to hold this together. They have a really big uphill battle from T1 side. FL is picking on them from, you can see over on the left side. They have a lot of buildings to breach and a lot of angles. Let's switch over from FL holding it together. You can see them covering every which angle. Let's see if T1 decides to breach this, and they do, and there's the bubble. I don't know if this is the right to play. They do get the knock. There's so much damage going on. This is a nice clean sweep on T1. Let's switch over to FL now to see where they're going to find their positioning. Knowing that T1's already cleaned up that building, looks like FL is absolutely frying, lasering, puts down the bubble for some positioning just to recover a little bit. T1 is okay from what you can see on the left side. They do throw their ult out. Let's see if T1 decides to get on this action. T1 does have hype, but they're not in it quite yet, but they do get knocked. Fennell goes right back to go for their positioning and their angle. T1 rolling up on this team, throwing down the ult, putting down the pressure. Let's see how Fennell manages to hold it together. The ult is there. I don't know if they're going to be able to survive this long enough. If T1 is going to get a little bit too aggressive and aggro on this, they're getting cracks left and right. They do as well have a Kraber. And everyone currently is just reset. And there's the res. The zone is pulling in just a moment. Ooh, man, this has been nonstop. We've had some hard rotation. We've seen some nice, clean sweeps that we were looking for. That was a ballsy play by T1, and it really paid off. Listen, T1, like we mentioned before, was in 19th place, and they're going to be boosting right up on that scoreboard. This could be their game. Fennell at the moment, no matter what, looks like they're going to be taking first place. Let's take a look at the other team down below. Orthros Magical has the low ground here. Let's see how they keep it together. Fennell picking on him from right above. All they got to do is wait patiently. Let's see if T1 and Fennell fight this out. They're crawling right up. They're waiting patiently. They do have the ult going out. Fennell does have every opportunity to pick on them, and there's the shots from the R301 frying. Picking on them from that angle, which is exactly what Fennell needs to get them out of this lobby. And there's the ult, but they do have a bubble to counteract this. The pressure is being felt as T1 starts to mop this up, but this is looking to kind of cater over to Fennell here as they get some nice damage in. And now we have the 3v3 fight from Pino coming in at the angle here, and T1 battling this out. They do have both the Gibby ults out. Pino is kind of caught out of position, but is working currently in his favor. See if he can get an angle. He's going to be the first one to breach here. All the EVA 8 shots are out. Momon coming in, knocks one. We now have a 2v2 situation. We have a 1v2. Can he clutch this up? Oh, unfortunately is unable to, and this goes to T1. This is exactly what they needed. This goes from a team from 19th place with a massive number of kills, and T1 did hold it together. And look at the Haka. Ooh, look at that Haka as he goes right into the zone. Can definitely feel the celebration from their team. As you see Gibraltar pulling the Haka, he just kind of like fluttering right into the zone. Oh, man. All right. Looking pretty solid on T1. They're boosting right up. They're breaking that streak that they had, like we mentioned. Vanel is definitely going to be taking first place based on their performance there. We'll have to see once the scoreboard is fully updated. We'll update this here going into Game 4, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at the amount of kill points. T1 coming in with a massive, massive number of kills there. 14 plus 12. That's a total of 26 total points. 26 plus 2, that's 28. 28 points literally boosts them all the way up to third place at minimum. We're looking at a really solid change of pace here. Overall, that's exciting to see. Like we mentioned, all it takes is one solid game at the moment, and they managed to really clutch it up. They made some ballsy play, massive pushes. We managed to catch all of it. Also, as well as from Magical's point of view, taking third place there, they're definitely going to be boosting up from the 10th place that they had, moving up higher. So ORM moving up higher up on the roster list there. And we go into Game 4, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great moment to grab some snacks. Things are really heating up. This can be anybody's game. We'll look at the scoreboard once everything is updated. Ooh, man, the fact that T1 really clutched it out from the disadvantage that they were at and where it really settled in. That was pretty exciting to see. They had the hardest. Okay, this is going to be a 4-minute break. This is going to be a little bit longer before they bring everyone in. This is the halfway point. They're letting all the teams kind of take a moment before before everyone hops in. This is a great moment to grab some water. So it's going to be 4 minutes for the teams to kind of all get in. I should probably get up, walk around, and do the same thing. So we get into the next round. But appreciate all of you guys for being a part. Don't forget to leave a like on the stream. We got quite a few of you guys here today. We're already spiking up to quite a few people in today's stream. So don't forget to leave your support by leaving a like. Every little bit helps. So smack that like button, helps other people find the stream, find the channel, and we'll be going into the next round here momentarily. We'll break down the scores as well for all of you guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be getting set up here in just a moment. Don't forget to get up, walk around, stretch your legs. We've got a lot going on here. We got a lot at play. All right, so let's take 4 minutes here before we hop in. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in and watching, I will timestamp the VOD once everything is all kind of said and done. What we're looking at here is Apex Legends Global Series Championship. There's a lot of money on the line, ladies and gentlemen, a lot at stake here in a positive way because there's a lot of momentum that's being built, especially for ALGS. As you know, when we go over to the store, the ALGS Championship sale, definitely recommend buying the skins here because it helps support what you're watching. Not for my stream, it means the pro players. The pro players have a larger price pool that they're fighting for. All right, in just a minute, we'll get right back in and we'll settle on in for the next round. Don't forget to subscribe as well. We're going to be covering this quite a bit. This is the second day coverage, and we still all have all of next week as well to cover. So I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to be here on the channel because we have so much to cover. I think the lobbyist back up, so we'll reconnect. All right, quick break. Everybody should get up, walk around. Do not leave. You're not going to want to miss this. T1 is already putting up a major show. We see ORM as well showcasing a stellar performance. When I get back, let's break down all of those scores for everyone to really understand what is taking place. But we've been sitting down. We started our cast at 5 a.m. It's almost 7 o'clock. We have not even moved from our chair. So let's get up, walk around, get the blood flowing, and come right back and get ready for the next few rounds. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and you'll see on screen as everyone populates into the server and everyone gets ready. So let's go walk around real quick. Do not leave. Come back, leave a like, and let's do this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hope all of you guys got some water, walked around, went for a quick snack, because we are back. The round, it looks like it's about to begin here in just a moment. Let's break down the scoreboard, because I guarantee it's updated. Yes, it is. Let's break down the scoring. Okay. This is the current standing, and this is who we're going to follow for the next few rounds, okay? Excuse me. All right. FL, clearly running away with the current tournament with a total of 44 points. In first place. Looking pretty solid on FL's point of view. The OR team in general, both Fang and Magical, are really showcasing. So we need to keep a close eye on both those teams in the next round. But like we mentioned, for T1, they really shot up here. They're doing quite well. They went from the 19th place all the way up to 3rd place with the massive game. Massive game. This is the highest kill game that we have seen from a team on screen. This is first place with a total of 14 total kill points. So it's a massive game there. Really skyrocketing them. Now, teams to still keep an eye on. I mean, we're looking at the top 5 of the list here. You know, Good 8 Squad and RXR Clover doing quite well. Teams that are concerned. This is definitely concerning for Crazy Raccoon being in 20th place. This is not normal. This is going to change. This is going to shift. I promise you. As well as Team Unite. This is a really solid roster as well. They used to be Team Egg. and they've definitely performed well. So do not fret, do not stress. We're going to get into this next round in just a moment as teams all pile in, and we'll get ready. All right, let me switch back. Game 4, ladies and gentlemen. Game 4. We're already halfway through the tournament. And when I say halfway through the tournament, for the day. We have day 1, which is yesterday, day 2, which was today, and we still have way more. Gabriel, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. I really appreciate it. SA, it's great to see you. Let's give a shout out to everyone in chat. Yeah, just to keep in mind, reminder, 5-minute delay, but I am doing shout outs to everyone. Because it's the 5-minute delay. I'll type in chat. Look at the right chat bar where the money symbol is. There you go. Yeah, that's for enjoying the commentating. I really appreciate it, Diesel. Great to have you here. .exe, great to have you as well. I'm really glad that you guys are enjoying the cast. There's a lot to uncover here. And don't worry, Crazy Raccoon, I know it's been rough for them, but you know what? Things will change. Things will adjust. And Potato Grimes, thank you so much for the $1 as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to be getting some eggs and bakey today, 100%. 110%. Just returned from the shop, still tell me to walk around. Isn't it common knowledge not to hug koalas? I mean, koalas are adorable, right? All right, looks like we're about to begin here in just a moment. All right, we're going to begin here back in just a moment. Day 2, about to begin in this next round. Everything's looking solid. Everything's looking good. There's a lot of questions to be asked if teams are going to change up their comps based on... Yesterday, we started to see that happen. We started to see teams switch over to Octane a lot more. As the lobby started getting more custom, I wonder if we'll see more Valkyries, if you'll see teams move away, if they'll just stick to their guns and see what works. T1 has very much made... You know, we questioned if they needed a Valkyrie, but after we saw what took place, do they even need it? Do they even need a Valkyrie? I mean, realistically, maybe they don't. You know, they did just fine. But there's always the questions of how we can always improve, right? Kind of push the meta, kind of change it. Okay. All the tools that I need, and it looks like we're all ready to go in just a moment. Everyone's just hopping in. Where is it at for you guys in the world? It's 7:04 here in the morning. We got started at 5 a.m. Got up around 4, been taking naps and there we go. Looks like we're actually already starting. Okay. I must have missed the countdown. That's okay. I'm ready and geared up to go for the next round. I'd love to see more Watson in play. I miss the good old Watson meta. All right. Let's take a look and see if teams decide to change up the meta at all. I don't know if they're going to. I don't know if they're going to change it up. We are going into Game 4, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, I will timestamp this all for you guys later so you guys can check everything out. So first round is out. We still can see a consistent Valkyrie in play. Next team selection is out. No major changes. I do see an extra Octane. We see the Crypto. Crypto has left the lobby. There's no longer Crypto. Only 2 Valkyries still. The Crypto is gone. We do see an additional Octane showcasing himself.
This is your champion.
And T1 showcasing themselves. Looking pretty sharp. Looking pretty sharp. And we'll pause the music. Let's take a look. I think they're landing Countdown and Trials. Yeah, they used to land Fissure and Trials, but it looks like they've been taking Countdown more. At least it keeps them together a bit closer.
We'll keep a close eye. Fennel looks like they're taking their usual spot. T1. This is a team that's really showcased themselves. So we'll take a look at Fang as well. Fang looks like they've been taking no-name spot, kind of splitting up the south side. Is there a 50-50? Is there shots taking place? No, okay, we're good. I was about to say, I thought I heard shots there for a moment. So Magical and Fang. Magicals look like they're taking Harvester. This is a place I used to land whenever I used to play competitively. Harvester's not a bad spot. It's you know, it's the center of the zone. You have some nice positioning, some nice angles. It's not too bad. Not too bad. There's definitely a lot of loot here, and the plus side, it looks like we're already seeing Crazy Raccoon having the benefit of the zone as well as FL. T1 has another hard rotation just as they did before. We might have an early fight breakout here. Let's take a look. They are aware that there's team there. We haven't seen any 50-50s at all from APAC North. I think we saw one early fight that was kind of surprising. But no actual true 50-50s of teams landing on top of each other. They've been very respectful.
Heavy ammo here.
So teams are just looking for their rotations in. Everyone is falling into place. This is a great moment for you guys to grab snacks. I'll let you know if anything happens from the early point. This is where teams really find their positioning and find their footing. Let's take a look to see the teams that have kind of scanned Beacon. Looks like this is going to pull. Oh man, this is a rough ending. I've seen it end here. This is my prediction. It's going to end over in this spot around launch site side. If it pulls elsewhere, it could pull on the north side, but I don't think it's going to pull there. My prediction is going to pull in this area that you see here. No shots and no damage have gone out in the lobby so far. We're looking at a pretty clean lobby, ladies and gentlemen. Clean game so far. Crazy Raccoon has not been getting the best loot or armor, especially in the last fight. I mean, they've been looting up Sorting Factory pretty clean, and they've been coming out with only like whites and a blue. Like at the moment they have 2 whites and a blue. That's not ideal. I mean, they have a gold helmet, which is helpful, and I don't think they really want to run into FL again here. They've been playing pretty close to them, and FL's been, let's look at their armor situation. Looks like they're going to be rocking all blues, which is definitely going to be better than Crazy Raccoon's 2 whites and a blue. Looks like Eclair's already, let's switch over to this POV. Already got 2 knocks already. That was a pretty fast fight. It was very quick. They already knocked out that squad out of the lobby. Looks like Kanata, which is RXR Clover, is already knocked out. That was not the round that they needed. That happened very, very quickly. I apologize if we missed it. I even tried to get to it as fast as humanly possible, and you know, the minutes of the knocks already making a big switch. This is 2 kills. Eclair for... Oh, excuse me. RXR Clover is in. Excuse me. I am having a moment. It's early in the morning. It looks like I need my eggs and bacon this morning. I am having a moment, ladies and gentlemen. That's perfectly fine. These things do happen. But it's okay, because it looks like RXR Clover is not having a moment. The moment they're having is actually cherishing the moment. The fact that they are in it to win it, ladies and gentlemen. The cleanup that they had was just so fast that having a hard time comprehending. You know what it is? It's the octane that they have on their team. They gotta go fast like me. Gotta go fast like maybe I should be the voice actor for Octane. Maybe that's something I should do for fun. Hey, gotta go fast like me. All right, let's switch over to POV. And let's see how the rest of the lobby is doing. Apologize for having a moment there, ladies and gentlemen. It's early on in the round, but at least it isn't happening later on the round. That's where all the action, everything really takes place right now. Everyone's finding the rotation as they're getting into zone. We do see some early shots happening from USG. USG connecting those wingman shots. Getting those flashy wingman shots, if you will. I think the wingman is still a very much slept-on weapon. We've seen Rootsy really clutch it out. Speaking of Rootsy, let's take a look at his POV. He's running a Spitfire this go-around. But they have been a roster that has been really clutching it out before. A2 Esports. A2 right now could definitely do have a stronger performance. But they've clutched it out before. Rootsy has had, is a stellar player among their roster, and it's definitely nothing to be shy about. Looks like USG's going over for the care package here. The teams we need to focus on are ORF, FL, and T1. Right now, we're kind of taking a look at USG because they're kind of making a ballsy play for the care package. Very respectable. They need that care package, need that extra loot. There could be a purple armor in there. Looks like they're going right for it as well. And they decide to say, you know what, it isn't worth it anymore. What team was contesting them on at, which is FL. Definitely respectable not to contest FL at the moment, especially considering the hot streak that they're having. Crazy Raccoon is nearby. Kind of taking a whole nother angle. Looks like they're about to get into a gunfight with ORM, which ORM is currently in 4th place with 24 total points. This would definitely be the play for Crazy Raccoon to have. They had a stellar performance in day 1. We're so close to taking 1st place overall, but currently they are not having the performance that they're looking for. Let's go back over to RXR Clover. They were in a moment ago. I think they're getting picked on by CVA from a distance. Charge rifle shots. Charge rifle Charlie. Unfortunately, Kanata is getting cracked. We'll switch back over to Crazy Raccoon in the minute we see some action taking place. But RXR Clover is our current 6th place team with a total of 20 points. Looks like they're just unfortunately going to have to leave Melt's Cats all alone by himself. They don't necessarily have a lot of ammo on that charge rifle. And here it is. We'll switch over to Crazy Raccoon. Looks like they are looking to breach. They're looking for some of that KP, looking for that momentum. They're getting shot from a distance, but it doesn't looks like it's bothering him too much. And here they go for the breach and the push in. Ras is getting the angle. There's the Arcstar. Goes for the stick. That's a push if I ever saw one happen. Did the stick actually happen? I saw the damage go out. I'm almost positive, unless I'm jinxing myself. Crazy Raccoon trying to make the play here. Goes for the scan. Unfortunately, the scan happened at one of the worst moments, but didn't take a lot of damage there. Luckily, Ras is looking pretty clean here. It's a 2v2 situation. And there's a cleanup. It was actually a 2v1. I couldn't tell from the angle if his buddy was up. But it looks like this is a nice comeback from Crazy Raccoon. They do have this angle here. They have to be careful. They have multiple teams all around them, as you can tell from the map. Let's switch over from POV back over to CVA as they're recovering. I believe they just knocked out. Yeah, they did. They knocked out RXR Clover from the game. So I'll check out on that in just a hot second here. About to sneeze as well.
Level 3.
Yeah, it looks like RXR Clover is out and about to sneeze, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. Apologies. Vanel has an angle here. Vanel's been getting pretty lucky with the pulls that have been occurring so far within the zone. Crazy Raccoon is like the center of attention, but they do have gold armors and things are looking a lot better. Let's also take a look at T1. Don't mean to neglect T1 whatsoever. They just had a long rotation in. Have they had any damage? Don't worry, we haven't missed anything. They have not had any damage go out. Let's go back over to Crazy Raccoon. The minute we try to check on T1, they get into a gunfight? This is not what they need. At least they're recovering. They're going for the bubble res. We'll hold on Crazy Raccoon to see if they can maintain this momentum. The bubble is about to dissipate and go away, but at least they're able to recover. Selly does have gold armor, so if anybody was to go down, it would be Selly, because luckily he does have his gold armor to recuperate. They do have to get into this gunfight, but he's pinging for them to get out of this situation. But I don't know if they're going to be able to find their spacing and footing. They do not need this. This is not what they need. They do have games to recover. And they're just getting absolutely picked on from a distance here. Ras is trying to provide some cover for them. And Selly is on the rotation. Just need for Zetter to get over to them. And then they'll be in a much better spot. There's the bubble to buy himself some positioning and some time. And are they really in the zone here? Let's take a look. They are not. They are not in the zone here. So once it pulls, they're going to start to feel the pressure. It is only zone 1, so they can take the zone damage and then reposition. He's going to save his Phoenix kit, so whenever he does heal on the opposite angle here. That was definitely too close for comfort for Crazy Raccoon. All right. Oh, let's go back to Crazy Raccoon. Are they getting into another potential gunfight? Are they about to get rolled up on? There might be a potential there, but it looks like they're being respectful for the time being. T1 did not get as many gold armors as they normally do, but they do have a full purple squad here. Obley with the longbow, very inspiring. the fact that he's running a longbow. He's been clutching out his shots. As you saw there, one of his first shots of the game. Let's take a look who the kill leader is of the lobby. It's actually CVA who's running kill leader of the lobby at the moment with total 2 kills and 459 current damage. We have Reignite also going into a gunfight. We'll take a look at Reignite.
Might be something good this way.
Target over there.
Looks like it was mostly damage from a distance. Just taking some pop shots. It looks like it came from 788. Looks like the longbow is making a bigger presence in today's tournament than normal. Crazy Raccoon is definitely have a better round. It looks like Rig just finished up his kill that he got from a distance. FL is sitting pretty comfortable in the zone. We're not going to see a whole... Let's see where we can predict where the next fight would be. Looks like it's going to be CVA with Jupiter Vega. Jupiter Vega has way less. Jupiter Vega looks like they have way less to worry about,
Never mind.
as they do have height. Even though CVA has a better armor, at least they don't have to worry about a team really necessarily rolling up on them. CVA making their way in. They do have a great armor situation here with gold and purple. Let's take a look at Fennel. They're doing quite well. Looks like good 8 squad. The Valkyrie squads. Let's take a look at the Valkyrie squads. Speaking of Valkyrie, there's a squad that was right near them as they fly away. Making their way downtown, flying fast.
We can scan this area. Ignore me, I'm hungry and don't know what I'm saying.
And there we go. They have their angle here, and they do have the caustic for immediate position. I could see where the synergy could be, and putting up the caustic barrels to find their angle. So it's nice we caught this nice rotation over from Valkyrie. The downside is they are still outside of zone, and we are going to see a lot of fights really break out in just a moment. Jupiter Vega has height, but they are rocking all white armors.
Let's go.
Don't forget to drink water, ladies and gentlemen. I can feel the fact that I'm getting dehydrated, so don't forget to drink water.
Might be something good this way. Let's explore this way.
As we let the water settle in, T1 is rotating on the south side here. They might take this fight. They do have purple armors, and T1 is very much known for getting to early fights or edging the zone. They definitely have no problem getting into a gunfight. This is a very confident team. And we do know that Jupiter Vega has a very weak armor situation above. There's a massive damage gap there. And they're waiting for an initial knock here. Once they see that knock, I believe they're going to go on this. Let's take a look at their POV to see the situation. And there is, watch. Immediately. I was about to call it. Immediately, they were waiting for it to happen, and here it is. Once the knocks happen, let's take a look at T1's POV. We knew this was going to happen. It's nice whenever at least you commentate, you can know what's going to happen. And they mop up CVA for the nice quick kill points. CVA was having a great round. They were waiting for this fight to happen.
Say we move this way.
It did happen. And here we are. Crazy Raccoon definitely having a way better round. Fennel having the angle here. Let's take a look at ORF.
Hostile over there.
Let's go this way.
ORF is currently in second place. They're running the Bocek bow. They're pretty close to Crazy Raccoon, just as an FYI.
Someone's out there.
So if you look at the mini-map where they're at, they're literally right on top of them here.
This way.
Just so you understand where they're at. ORF seems to have an angle. They seem to have a shot here.
This dude's not with us. I forget I said
This could be some free KP for them.
got company, and they're not here to sell me chicken.
Getting some initial shots. Just not enough to really connect anything. The bubble's definitely in the way.
This time we got ourselves a fight.
Octane decides to rotate right back to his squad just so he's with them, just in case they do get rotated on. Let's take a look at FL's POV. FL is our current top place, and they're already into a gunfight, getting into a fight with Unite, which Unite is a pretty strong squad. Nothing to be shy about. And we'll go back over to ORF to make sure we don't miss this gunfight here. They're definitely getting pinched, and Crazy Raccoon is right behind them. Let's see if Crazy Raccoon is going to decide to push on this. And there they are. They definitely are aware of their presence. And there they go. Selly getting a nice amount of damage with the Volt. He does have the gold armor, so he can rotate in and out. The reason why you would definitely want to put the gold armor in the Wraith, as she's going to be the one to kind of go for entry level damage, and she needs to heal up immediately afterwards. Let's see if Selly can connect any additional damage here. While they did get a crack, it's not enough to really make a play. They don't necessarily want to give up zone and give up their positioning.
Let's go this way.
We'll switch back over to ORF to see how they're handling this. They need to be careful not to get run up on, but of course Crazy Raccoon is definitely going to be one of the harder teams that they're going to run into. Crazy Raccoon's definitely taking some shots on them again. Selly is just not letting him breathe, he's not letting him take any positive angles here. Look at all those arrows there. Those are free. You almost should just pick them up, make sure they don't grab them. There's the Valkyrie flying in, and this is looking pretty good for Selly. Selly's looking at some free damage here. ROF is getting into a solid gunfight here, and Selly is getting quick into this action. Let's switch over to ORF and how they're handling this. Selly's about to roll up. Let's switch over to their POV. They're about to just get right into this action. Nice solid R301 shots, getting the cleanup, exactly what they're looking for. Not too worried about the damage that's being rolled off. Let's take a look at the POV from ORF and how they're recovering. They did back out into this fight immediately once they got the chance. Look at the map. This is going to become an absolute cluster of amount of damage. Everyone's just kind of ducking and weaving. Nobody really wants to full commit, because once they do, they know, oh, the repercussions that definitely take place. And it looks like FL is getting into a gunfight as well from their POV over here. Definitely getting into an intense gunfight, getting intensified. The bubble has gone out, which means the team down below definitely does not have that at their disposal as they rotate in. This could be some free KP for Fennel. We're going to switch over to Crazy Raccoon as well. They got the angle. Pino's got all the damage in the world, getting all the knocks. All the damage, at least, not necessarily the knocks. T1 obviously has the upper hand over here, stealing all those kills. Let's take a look. Crazy Raccoon, make sure we're not missing again. Fennel, unfortunately, missing out on most of those kills as T1 just swoops them up. Literally swooping them up. Those are free KP looking at them. Let's take a look at who the current kill leader is, which it is Parka. T1 is really showcasing their presence in this tournament now. We should keep a closer eye on T1, realizing just how much they're showing up overall. Looks like they're going to hold for a minute. Let's take a look at Crazy Raccoon's POV. It looks like they are predominantly holding the angle, while T1 and Fennel are really battling this out.
Hostile over there. Cancel that.
T1's getting rolled up on the flank here. All they got to do is keep it together, keep to composure. They only have 45 seconds left. Selly is getting into a gunfight over his current angle. He is popping his Q to rotate back, while A2 Esports is holding their angle, locking out lag. Make sure that they don't have their dominant spot, and their Wraith from lag looks like he just popped his Q and is rotating. I believe this is lag. We'll take a quick moment here in just a moment, but I want to make sure we capture Rootsy's solid shots. Nice movement. Nice wall mounts. Can he clutch this out? Clean this up. Of course, too late, and there it is. Yet knocks out lag, and there it is. Crazy Raccoon does have the angle here. They're just taking some initial shots, and let's make sure that T1, they're definitely feeling the pressure on the team on the left. And they're burning through resources here. Obly, unfortunately, is cracked as well as Parka. And they're just going to full on ape. This is from FTW. Knocks out T1 from the lobby. Unfortunate to see, but FTW has had also a stellar performance overall in the prior tournament. LFT, by the way, is FTW on the scoreboard on Liquipedia, just in case you're looking at the scoreboard and curious how many points that they do currently have. They're a little bit lower on the scoreboard, but yesterday they had a stand-up performance. I believe they were in 3rd or 4th place overall. Selly, once these bubbles all dissipate, they're going to be looking at some free damage here. Fennel looking pretty good. They do have height, and they're picking some teams out in the open here. Nice R301 shots. Clutches that out for a solid amount of damage. Rootsy's also popping up with the wingman. Destroys. Absolutely destroys. I wish we caught that. We had to hold on. Let's just hold on to Rootsy here. He's absolutely popping off with the wingman. He's making some aggro plays. While they're rotating, let's take a look at Selly's POV. Picking on teams from a distance. Rootsy is popping off with the wingman. Let's see if he does get knocked here. See if he manages to rotate right back. He needs to get some additional loot. Does go for the armor swap, whatever he can. decides to rotate back. I believe he has got a bat. He's got a Phoenix kit now at his disposal. We look at Sully making some massive cleanups here. We'll just hold on Sully for just a moment. Every time we keep switching, we're just non-stop action taking place at the moment, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the unfortunate part that happens with the Battle Royale. The minute you switch over from the POV, somebody else decides to land their shots and really clutch things out. Really, a lot of the damage is having from Rootsy as well as Sully, really trying to make some plays as a Wraith. As well as T1 having the high end here. But now, are they getting pushed? They look like they're okay. Let's go back to Rootsy to see if he's going to manage to clutch some damage out. He is a kill leader of the lobby. He's landing a lot of his wingman shots, as you can tell. He's racking up that damage. It's a pretty big game for A2. So they're pretty comfortable over there. See if Rootsy's going to be able to clutch this out. He's making a big play here. Pushing up on FL. Trying to land those wingman shots, trying to connect him, trying to make sure that he's pushing up, making his angles, making his plays. Can he climb up and make a play here? That's really the biggest burning question. They do have the low ground, which is not ideal. But they are at least edging the zone. He decides to push up. Rootsy coming up on the damage here. Takes a massive amount of damage. Not connecting almost any of his EVA ace shots. From what we're looking at from before, and it looks like A2 is really struggling in this gunfight. This is looking like a solid cleanup by FL, but they are getting picked on from a distance, and FL does clean that up. They were getting shot from, it looks like, a whole different angle, and this is looking like it's playing into the hands of Crazy Raccoon. We're holding their POV to see how they clutch this out. This is coming from Crazy Raccoon was having some of the hardest time in the whole game so far to potentially clutching out a win to boost him right up into the lobby. Let's see how they manage to clutch this out. Ras has the EVA 8 in hand, has 6 bullets left in the chamber. Or in the barrel, excuse me. He's running a shotgun, trying to commentate, trying to cast everything last second here. But it does clutch out his kill there. Ras needs to be careful. He's out in the open. He's moving. His movement smacks him across the head and tells him, you now have a concussion. You're no longer part of this lobby. And it looks like this game is looking heavily to play into Crazy Raccoon. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Like we mentioned, anything can really happen. Ras's movement was definitely on point there as he's flicking around. And this is a game that they were looking for. Crazy Raccoon, congratulations, taking game 4 and boosting him very high up on the scoreboard. This is exactly what the fans were looking for. There was a lot of action taking place. I believe we caught as much as humanly possible. They're not too bad, not too bad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we go on to game 5. Look at the scoreboard. Massive game for Crazy Raccoon. That was a total of a 14 kill game. Just as much as we saw T1 before. It's going to boost them up to a solid 5th or 4th place. They get one more game like that, they'll be on their way to 1st. Or at least 2nd. FL has definitely been coming up close. Alright, guys. Pretty big. Pretty big. We did see T1 get eliminated a little bit too early. But that's okay. You know, these things do happen. Don't forget to leave a like, guys, on the stream. Every little bit helps support others find the channel and the stream. And don't forget to subscribe, because we're going to be casting day 3 and day 4 of APAC North for next week as well. Once the scoreboard is updated, we'll be sure to get in. Be sure to stay hydrated, guys. I can definitely feel that I'm dehydrated. That's why my nose is itchy whenever I get dehydrated. Water is your friend, ladies and gentlemen. Stay hydrated. It's important. All right. And we are in. Going into game 5, ladies and gentlemen. Going right into game 5 in just a moment. As you can tell, the lobby is populating. We'll take a look at the scoreboard in just a moment when it's fully updated. I want you guys to understand how fast things can really change on this leaderboard. It went from Crazy Raccoon going from last place to potentially moving up to 4th or 5th. So literally boosting out 15 total points. We'll take a look at that in just a moment and see where they all sit. Two more games underway, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a big day. Once that scoreboard is updated, we'll take a look and review everything that is taking place. Otherwise, we'll just kind of keep it on the current screen. We need to take a look at the Valkyrie squads. I know the Valkyrie squads are doing quite well. Like, Good 8 squad currently is... Look at where Good 8 squad. Good 8 squad is currently in 6th place. Valkyrie isn't necessarily making and breaking, and GTS Black has performed well in prior tournaments and is currently in 11th place. There's nothing to kind of snuff at all. These are very talented squads. I've seen them all perform very well, which is why it's interesting to see so many of these squads play, because anything can really change and really switch up. It's always interesting to see. All right. In this next update here, we'll take a look at the breakdown on the scoreboard and see where everyone sits. I appreciate all of you guys for being a part. Hopefully you're enjoying this as much as I am. I'm not gonna lie, I'm having a great time watching and casting, and I appreciate you guys all for being a part. Don't forget to smack that like button. It means a whole lot that all of you guys are here and watching Apex Legends. There's a lot of money on the line here, and the cash pool is only growing and getting larger as everyone keeps buying the ALGS skins in the store. There's just a few more squads that need to get updated, specifically Crazy Raccoon, so we can see where they're going to get updated to. Alright, once that fully updates, we'll switch over from POV and we'll take a look at everything. Everyone is piling into the lobby. You can tell that Crazy Raccoon was going to have a really great round once they almost got knocked. They almost lost the composure there at that angle, but they held it together. They waited patiently to find their angle whenever you saw that they were literally at the edge of the zone trying to play as comfortably as possible. There was a lot of tension there, but at least it was the first zone. They were able to kind of take the zone and rotate around and buy themselves some time. So there was definitely a lot of patience that was held from Crazy Raccoon in making sure that they clutched out those big moments. So we're seeing a lot of shifts in the scoreboard, and once it's updated, we'll take a look at where everyone is at and where things have settled. What a crazy weekend so far, where seeing teams really clutch out and really make a comeback here. It's been interesting to see. ORF and ORM have really been performing quite well, and they should be very proud of their performance, both from the roster perspective. We've been definitely catching the action of where they've been showcasing best we can. We're going to keep a closer eye on them in this next round as well to see how they're going to perform. Don't forget to grab yourself a snack, grab yourself some water. If you're just tuning in, don't worry, we will timestamp everything. Whenever this does turn into a VOD. It takes me like 5 or 7 minutes to just timestamp once the stream ends. This is on a 5-minute delay, so be sure to engage with all of you guys and kind of talk through everything. Pulls up, there is a 5-minute delay. Shout out, good to have you here. Gabrielle, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel, for being here as well. Thank you so much, Diesel. I appreciate you for being here. Also, hi for Battlefield. Crazy Raccoon is like TSM here, so exactly. Crazy Raccoon definitely has had a strong performance. Night Fox, great to see you. Fives, good to see you here as well. Thank you so much for being here. GG's, good game. Zen, good to have you. Halox, good to have you. ISIP, hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Hopefully you guys are getting some breakfast in as well. I'm definitely going to be getting some breakfast after this. Neon's, great to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're doing well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting into the next round. Let me hit refresh and let's break down that scoreboard. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. And let's get ready for game 5. We got 2 more rounds left, ladies and gentlemen. 2 more rounds. Okay, we see FL in first place, really taking it away currently with a total of 58 total points. Pretty solid, looking pretty good. T1 at 37 total points. We have ORF in third place with 32 points. Crazy Raccoon went from literally all the way from 20th place, from what you're saying, now up to 4th place. If they literally had the same performance that they just had with first place of 14 total points right there, we've been seeing the theme. First place of 14 points. T1, first place of 14 points. And FL, first place with 12 total points. FL is keeping consistent, though. They have had first, second, third. They went out early in game 2, but they've been holding a lot of consistency here today. If they hold on to that consistency, I mean, it's going to be hard for Crazy Raccoon and T1 to really catch them. They need for FL to have a not so positive game for them to really catch them, but it's still looking pretty good. ORF and ORM have dropped a little lower, but they are still keeping consistent overall performance. ORM did go off in 19th place there, which is not so positive. So we look at the breakdown of the scores here. FL with a total 58 points. T1, 37 points. ORF, 32 points. Crazy Raccoon, 30 points. And Warabee, 28 total points. Looking pretty solid across the board. Unite was a team that has performed well before. This is a team that can definitely shoot up as well. GTS Black I've seen perform quite well. Let's say a lot of these teams, not to snuff up at all. And FTW, as you still push on T1, can definitely have a game whenever they're ready. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for game 5 in just a moment. In 2 minutes, we will begin. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Get my tea. I agree. Definitely need to get tea. I have my water here. Appreciate all of you guys for being a part. We begin here in just a moment. Oh, it looks like it's already starting. Let's do this. Game 5, ladies and gentlemen. Game 5. Let's see if we see any switch-ups in composition. All right. Feeling pretty good. Hopefully you guys are all feeling great. Don't forget to leave a like on the stream, on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe because we will be casting this tournament, continuing on to day 3 and day 4 for next week. So highly encourage you guys to keep tabs, what's going on, what's happening, and don't miss a beat. Any changes? Looks like the Valkyrie teams are staying consistent. Good 8 squad sticking with their Valkyries. Crypto's not making a return. LFT, it looks like they're bringing the Valkyrie in. Looks like we have an additional Valkyrie from LFT, which is FTW. So solid plays. We do see, I think, an additional Octane as well, making a showcase. Octane has definitely been making a bigger play overall. I think the strongest comp that we've been seeing in the tournament has been Gibraltar, Wraith, and Bloodhound. Definitely all S-tier legends. I thought Gibby would drop a little bit lower because of Valkyrie, but that was the only thing that I predicted that didn't happen. And we definitely saw Horizon pretty much just drop from the meta altogether from what we are used to seeing. This is a great Gibraltar skin, by the way. Love that Gibraltar skin. So all teams are making their way. Let's see if we have any 50-50s right off the rip. We've seen teams all play pretty respectfully. Team Unite has definitely held Thermal Station pretty strong together, always uncontested. FL taking the south side. We have Crazy Raccoon with Selly holding their angle on sorting, always uncontested. They don't really have to worry about many teams running into them. We do have the potential team of USG here running into. There's going to be lag for just a second. I need to pull up my roster list, so I apologize for that. And we're going right back into it, and we're good to go. Let's take a look at LFT's team.
Let's explore this way.
Looks like LFT is rocking the Valkyrie. This is actually the comp that I was just mentioning, where you run Valkyrie with Wraith and Gibraltar. I think they were running Bloodhound before, which they rotated out the Bloodhound. It looks like they're changing things up. They're trying to kind of get their footing. They had a really great performance yesterday, but it looks like they're just changing things up. And I think it's mostly because of the rotations in. I wonder if Valkyrie is going to be enough to make a change for this comp. Oh, let's switch over. There's a gunfight already taking place. Oh, it looks like we're probably going to miss that. That already took place way too quickly for me to really capture. Well, unfortunately, missed a bit of that fight taking place. I apologize. My button was necessary. The keyboard button got stuck there, so I apologize. We weren't able to capture the full fight, but we are capturing it now. I was tapping it many times to get over there, and it just wouldn't get us over there to the fight. Are we looking at a 1v1? It's getting pretty intense. Got a massive in play. Oh my gosh, he just needs one more shot. There it is. Wow, that was a nice cleanup. That was really close. At least we captured the 1v1 at the end there. For some reason, it just wasn't switching over to the POV. No matter how many times I clicked the button, I was like, please switch, please switch, please switch, and then it finally did. It looks like T1 is already into an early fight here as well. Luckily, my button is working this time, so we're at least able to see what's taking place and what's happening. Looks like I got a little bit of lag there, but it looks like everything is all cleared up, so it looks like we are good to go. Not too bad. Let's see where the roster looks like. They caught Jupiter Vega out in positioning. T1 is going for those early KP points, showing a little bit of early disrespect over to Jupiter Vega. There's a Jupiter Vega, feed us those kill points. Feed me Seymour. They had the Valkyrie. They definitely would spot him out. Let's take a look at Crazy Raccoon's POV, how they're rotating in. Are they about to run into a gunfight here? Let's take a look. USG is rotating right behind them, and FL has the longest rotation out from the south, but it looks like they are okay. Let's take a look at LFT and see how they're going to utilize their Valkyrie ult, which is up in 10%, so a little bit under 30 seconds. We'll see the Valkyrie ult, see how they utilize it, if they're going to utilize it.
Let's nix that last part.
Again, Game 5, ladies and gentlemen. I only have 2 more games. We're almost probably a little bit, about a third in currently of Game 5 at the moment. Let's take a look at CVA. Looks like they're already into a gunfight at the moment. Mostly just kind of a cleanup fight, and we also have some fights already breaking out from a distance over here. Mostly pop shots. Looks like they're okay. Let's switch back over the POV. Let's look at Ice Cream since they have the advantage at the moment. G7 scout shots going up by Matsu. Going for the back, going for the recovery. They do have a 3v2 situation. They do have the Bloodhound. They do have a potential jump pad to jump on this if they need to. Scan, unfortunately, was too far away for them to pick up, and unfortunately, they are unable to make a play off this at this time. The current kill leader is from USGC as they're making a play. Let's take a look at from Reignite's POV as they're getting into a gunfight. Jumped in just in time as Sano is unloading. I wonder if his name has anything to do with Captain Insano. I don't know if any of you guys have seen Waterboy. I love that movie. It's definitely kind of an older movie, I guess you would say. It looks like they were into a fight with GTS here. Sano looking for the angle. I think they saw somebody up top. Let's take a look at LFT, and they're about to break out into a potential fight here. Lemonade, looks like he's upgrading his armor. They do have the Valkyrie ult, which they have not utilized yet. What's crazy is how much Valkyrie does not feel overpowered, but her toolkit definitely feels strong and effective all at the same time.
Enemy over there. Let's explode. Cancel that.
And it's just all they're going to do at this point is just kind of craft. It looks like not a lot of gunfights. We do see the zone pulling on the upper left. We do have Crazy Raccoon, who is hard gating most of the teams out here. So it's not too bad. From USG, we'll keep an eye on Crazy Raccoon to see, because every team is about to converge on them. As you can tell, they're already taking pop shots and holding the angle here as teams already make their way in. Any additional fights? I'm just trying to take a look at the map where we can predict the next gunfight is going to take place. T1 and Unite. It looks like Jupiter Vega is going to potentially break out into a fight here. Jigen has a potential angle, just letting him kind of roll up for free. So his angle's kind of lost here. There's a nice 57 damage in with the Volt. A Volt is definitely a fan favorite among a lot of the pros, as you can tell. Listen, the Volt is just too good. It's just so consistent. It definitely has taken more of the pride and joy of the R99. They do have various angles. Jigen is just trying to get the bat off. The Devo, unfortunately, was not enough for them to spray this out. Banana Star does come back. He's most likely going to get wiped from this, though. He does get the scan out. Just tries to sell. They are taking zone damage. It is a 1v2 situation. If he can manage to clutch this out and get the initial damage, but it may not be enough. Let's see if Banana Star can clutch out a 1v2. Here they come rolling up on him. Unfortunately, gets a Mastiff right in the face. Unite does manage to clutch that out, and they're doing perfectly good. Crazy Raccoon is holding the angle here, waiting to see if a team may roll up so they get some free KP. We look at the map to see where the next fight may break out into. LFT is about to get rolled up on, and they're completely unaware. Let's see if they use their Valkyrie ult to go for a free rotation, or if this Valkyrie is going to get just caught out. There is the ult. Let's see if Lemonade has managed to cover for them. A little bit of damage in with the R301, but not enough to really scare the team. They're just going to full keep inting. They're just going to full push. Their Valkyrie does have the port that managed to get her at a whole different angle here. They could use their Valkyrie ult to get away immediately and go for a full rotation, but it looks like they're not utilizing it quite yet. But at least that is a solid option and a solid play for them here. Because they do have a ways away to go. Valkyrie's got a solid 3x on the bow check bow. They are unaware that the team is kind of waiting them out here. The minute that that FL sees blood, they will make a play. Momon is here, scans it out. They're not going to necessarily push on this. Be dangerous territory if one of them were to get knocked. So they were waiting, just like they did before. Was it Fennel or was it T1? It was actually T1 before. That was waiting for the damage to really go out for them to make a play. Speaking of T1, I just want to take a look at their positioning to see where they're at in the map. T1 has the north side of the map. Right now, there's a potential gunfight. Once we see the shots take place, we will switch to the POV. We're going to stick on T1, as they have the highest probability, it looks like, of going into a gunfight. We'll switch over to FL if we need to. But look at that knock. This is a clear win. And Parka does have already the port to go in. Can he scale the wall fast enough? And there he is going in. Going for the Mass Assault, 72 damage. Cracks, and we do have 2 flesh. But Parka is going to reposition. He does have gold armor. He's waiting for his teammates to make a potential play to roll right in. The bubble does go out. And King Kai, thank you so much for the $2 donation. I really appreciate it, by the way, buddy. Let's see if they manage to make a push in. They did have the jump on them. Unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like, due to the sheer nades, if they're going to be able to make a play on this. Looks like they back out from it. Just not worth. By the time another team is going to roll up, let's just take a look at who the current kill leader is of the lobby. It looks like it is Unite. T1 looking pretty solid, though. Let's see where we can predict the next fight is going to take place. Looks like it's possibly going to happen with Fennel here. They have a hard rotation in. Let's take a look at USG. They did have a knock with the bow. One did. I wonder if they got knocked out of the sky. What happened here? What is the story? What is going on? Oh, there it is. He does try to get away, but unfortunately it was just not enough. FL did see this action and is kind of keeping a close eye. He does have his Q to get in and out if he needs to. This is why the Wraith usually plays a little bit further away, is that they do have the tactical ability to get in and out if they need to out of a gunfight. All these teams right here, we're not really keeping an eye because they're not really going to fight. Not really necessarily worried about them. Nope, looks like LFT is just rotating away. And that's the Valkyrie Q, or ult, that we're talking about that really makes a play. They're about to rotate on Crazy Raccoon in just a moment. Sorry, I mispronounced that, by the way. Nightfall, sorry, not Jigen Tatsu. Sorry about that. Apologies. Crazy Raccoon just waiting to see if they could get some free KP on the rotation, and T1's about to get into a massive gunfight here. You can see from the highlights right behind, there's a team there. There's also a team right behind, so they have to clean this up pretty quickly, not overextend. They don't really know the extent of how many teams are here, and they have to be careful. This could get messy really quickly. There are 18 squads still remaining, only 15 people alive, and the zone is closing, and it will be fully closed in 40 seconds. T1 rolling right in. They're ready for this. They did get the knock, and they do have the damage, and there is a Spitfire. Let's take a look at Parka, see how he's going to entry on this, if he's able to. T1 is extremely smart in how they rotate in when they're going to get their damage and when they're not. If they know they can get the rotation and whenever they know that they're not going to get it. So it looks like LFT is about to get rolled up on, which is FTW, by the way, when you're looking up on Wikipedia. FTW is currently in 12th place. Let's take a look at FL and see how they're handling their rotation. They could run into Crazy Raccoon, because Crazy Raccoon has a building,
Let's go this way.
and FNL is just right outside the building with them. Vanel has exercised an immense amount of patience as they get into a gunfight here, but their patience is knowing when to take a fight, when not to take a fight. Just as much as T1, these are smart teams. They know when to push and when to back out. And there it is. At least Momon is recovering right up above, and they do have 2 knocks, and this is the fight. Let's see if Crazy Raccoon, they're aware of this, but they're opting to rotate into zone. Let's just stick on FL and make sure that they're going to recover from this. And let's see where Crazy Raccoon is going to find their positioning. FTW is about to rotate on Crazy Raccoon, but Crazy Raccoon has beat them first to this prime spot. This is prime real estate for them. Sully is taking the off angles here, grabbing a potential prowler, and rotating right back to his squad. Nice movement right into the safe spot. Just make sure you didn't get picked off from a whole different angle. Let's take a look at FL. FL has to rotate. They do have a hard angle here, and there's going to be a lot of teams about to fight. Let's take a look at A2 Esports. They're about to get into a gunfight here with FTW. Karma rotating right in. Frying with the R99, taking his shots. Nice longbow shots here. And they tell him, back off. You do not belong here, FTW. As much as you want to run the Valkyrie, unfortunately, Valkyrie's not going to be enough. Zetter, excuse me, frying with the R301 from his angle. Just want to make sure we capture that, and we did just in time. Vanel needs to rotate, and they are out of zone. They got 50 seconds to really gate this. We go right back to Zetter to see how he's going to handle their rotation in. Vanel making a push. They are going to be caught right dead center. They're going to contest Crazy Raccoon right for this, and they fly right through, but unfortunately they're going to have to keep taking the port right back because they did use their bubble, but at least Fennel has their bubble and caused Crazy Raccoon a bit of a stir there. They only got 22 seconds to really make a play, but I'm not sure if they can really make a play. It looks like FL did try to fly away. This is huge. This is Fennel versus Crazy Raccoon. This is huge. This is huge. This is looking like a big fight. He doesn't see the angle there. Fennel going down. This is a first place squad. Already down 1. Crazy Raccoon. They didn't see their angle, but it looks like they're getting shot from multiple angles now. Fennel is going completely down, and Crazy Raccoon getting hard griefed at this point. They were trying to hold their angle. Goes for the Q. Tries to rotate out. Unfortunately, Team Unite does come up and rotates right in. Unite is in 19th place. These are 2 teams. Let's take a look. T1 is laughing at the moment, realizing the 2 teams that just gone out in the lobby. T1 has free real estate. If they manage to clutch out a big game here, this can push them right up to first place. FL unfortunately did not get a whole lot of KP out of that. And A2 Esports located right down below, flying up and down there. See if we can predict where the next big fight is going to take place. A2 is right below them, which is not going to be the fight that's going to happen. Let's take a look at ORF. They're right below them. There's a lot of scans going off, but not a whole lot of fights. A lot of action just kind of took place there. Looks like we're seeing a bit of the graphical glitch from Bloodhound's ultimate there. Wonder if that'll go away. That's something you see too often. I've not quite seen that before. Looks like we got the perma graphical glitch. Until it dissipates. I wonder if we can get it to disappear if I can click on somebody else. Or if it's just going to stay stuck for the remainder of the round. I guess it's not the end of the world, but I apologize, guys, that it's appearing. I'm not sure if I can get that to disappear. Looks like it's kind of perma-stuck. Apologize, guys, but nonetheless, but at least we're okay for now. Orof getting into a gunfight here. In fight as well as Tenor. Waiting to hold their angles, waiting for the right moment to res. The minute they get the res, they're going to hear it, and there is a push down below. We now pretty much have a 1v3. Gibby just biding his time, waiting. This is getting messy real quick. Everyone's just kind of rotating in right underneath them. His bubble is on CD, but he could stick a res. I don't know if he's going to get caught out. Is he going to get caught out here? And then he does. He gets shot right in the back, and he's just trying to buy himself some time. And there's the Arc Star to get them to back off. Does take the Arc Star. Does go for the angle. Whiffs all of his shots. Doesn't even land a 7-0. And ORM does clutch it out. Let's take a look at T1's POV to see where they have. They have the height here. They are edging the zone. This is what T1 is known for, edging the angles. They do see that most of the teams have the building, but I've seen it played outside of the gate here, and this is probably the best play that they have. Look at the amount of Gibby ults that are out at the moment. It's a massive number of Gibby ults out in play. Apologize again for the graphical glitch from Bloodhound. It looks like it's just not disappearing. I don't really know how to get that to go away, and I don't think it's going to, unfortunately. Team Unite's looking pretty solid. We only have 9 squads remaining, only 27 in the lobby so far. T1 does have height, which is looking pretty good. We do have constant gunfights going back and forth, and we look at Good 8 squad. It's looking like they're in the center of the zone. They're getting picked on from a distance there. We'll keep a close eye on T1 because they are current top squad at the moment. And we'll take a look at ORF as well. Looks like ORF is out of the lobby. We'll just hold on T1. I think this is important that we hold on them. This could be their game. I don't think you guys realize the importance that T1 taking this game could push them up to first place if they're patient, if they're careful. Parka going for some early Arc Stars, putting that pressure and putting that damage. Unfortunately, it doesn't connect into the Arc Stars, but at least it's a thought that counts. They're getting into a pretty early gunfight. This is where most of the damage and most of the action is really taking place. The bubble is out in place for them to wait for the Gibby ult to pass, which means that they may not have the Gibby ult bubble in time for the rotation. Actually, it will be. They have 52 seconds on the clock. They're trying to push out that team, but listen, they're not letting them breathe. I'm going to hold on T1. I think it's really important for us to really capture this because this is a team, knowing that Fennel just went out early, that can take first place overall. This is the game that T1 is looking for. If they keep their composure, if they wait. They've had the uphill battle before, and they have it again here. You hear the ult on the left. They got 15 seconds to make a play. They have very little time to make a full decision. There's a solid scan catching everyone out. Pops his ult, keeping an eye and making sure that I think their Bloodhound Obly's going to stay behind the longest. Gets a solid 87 damage with the longbow. He's making every longbow player proud. He's definitely making me proud. I know Reignite's popping off with a Kraber. I apologize for not capturing that, but I think it's really... I'm heavily emphasizing how important it is that T1, if they go out here, which they might, and then we'll switch right over to Reignite and his POV, if they do go out. And they're keeping it together. They're keeping their composure. They're about to get run up on by a whole different team. And this is about to get really intense very quickly. They're opting to take height. They're trying to play it patiently. Let's see if they can get on height fast enough. Parka all by himself up top. If they can keep holding this, he'll right through the Gibby ult. I'm getting chills just watching this. Can he keep it and keep his composure together? He's now in the top 7. Parka holding it together for every single squad. T1 is definitely screaming for Parka to hold it together. They do have height. They do have a hard rotation in. Let's take a look at Reignite. Reignite has every bit of opportunity here. 788 has a Kraber. He is the kill leader. I apologize for missing some of that, but it was really important for us to capture T1, and we'll hold on Reignite to see how he's going to clutch out the remaining. He's got a lot of damage in the lobby. He's got a total of 2,600 damage. This man has been popping off constantly with the Kraber. 788, if you ever watch this VOD, dude, you're absolutely killing him, man. An absolute monster with the Kraber. I've seen you pop off with it before, but you're really showcasing the prowess and the power of the Kraber. Do it for the fans. Let's get another one in, shall we? Get that Kraber shot. Got 3 bullets. Make them all count. See if he drops these. They got a lot of armor swaps here. This could be Reignite's game. Reignite is in 11th place with 20 points. They do have 5 kills under their belt, and they do have prime positioning here. This is the highest probability for them. And they do... Ooh, that headshot, though. Jesus. Going right in, like we mentioned. Do it for the fans, ladies and gentlemen. Go for the burn. And there's another nade out. He's not letting him breathe whatsoever. Get us another Kraber shot. Do it for the chat. Do it for everyone. Do it for the fans. Give it to us. Look at that cleanup by Reignite. Absolutely decimating. I believe that is T1 there. Reignite popping off with the Kraber, waiting for anybody to pop around that angle. He's got very little time, but it is a raid. He does see him. Can he connect this Kraber shot? Unfortunately, does get hit by an ultimate, which does blur his vision. And a team does roll up, but he does have his EVA 8 shot. Reignite's having a massive game. Oh my god! Jesus Christ, a no-scope with the Kraber. Massive S788's having... He's going to go for a 4K badge and a tournament, an ALGS championship? Pop off. Go on. Keep it going. Give us the 4K badge. 788 is an absolute monster, decimating right now. He is having the game of his life. Keep on going. Go for the 4K badge. Can he get a 4K badge? Even if he gets 3,500, I'll take it. That no-scope was just dirty. That's one for the highlight reels, ladies and gentlemen. They start to feel this pressure. Keep it together, Reignite. Definitely the fans are rooting for Reignite at this point, based on the amount of damage that they have in play. Unite has height, I believe, right above them. There is the gas that is in play. Can they heal through it? As the R301, he does try to pop his Q to get some angles here. This is going to be really tough for Reignite. He's got 3,400 damage. Can he get that 4K badge that we're all praying for? 3,500 damage in an ALGS competitive tournament, and GTS Black does take it though. 788 was holding it together with his team. Reignite did pop off. I believe they got second place. What a game! And GTS Black, Luke, who mentioned before, this is a Valkyrie squad coming in first place. Nothing to snuff at. My gosh, what? Thank you, 788, for doing it for the fans. You got that nasty headshot and that no-scope that everyone was looking for. I know we missed a few of the Kraber shots. I do apologize. I apologize to you if you ever watched this VOD. I mean, listen, I needed to capture to see if T1, what the placement they were going to get, if they're going to keep it together, if they're going to pop off. And my gosh, what a game. What a game, ladies and gentlemen. We are going on to Game 6 now. How many points did Reignite? They unfortunately got third place, but they did get a massive kill game. That's going to really boost them up. Total of 12 points plus 7. 12 plus 7, 19 points plus 20. They're at a total of 39 total points. So that really does skyrocket them quite heavily up. Might boost them up above even Waraby and other teams. So that's a solid game. Solid game, guys. What a round, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying the tournament from what you've seen so far. In just a moment, we're going to hop into the next lobby and the next round. That was crazy. Honestly, those Kraber shots were disgusting. Disgusting, seriously. That was impressive, man. 3,500 damage. Almost got a 4K badge in that. Once the scoreboard is updated, we'll review everything. Let's hop into the next and final lobby of today. Whoo, man. That was a shot. 788 put on a show, man. That was great to see. I love it. I gotta love the Kraber in play. Every pro hates the Kraber because I mean it's game breaking, ladies and gentlemen. It definitely turns the tide of every single fight. Oh man, that was great to see. I mean, my reaction, I'm not gonna lie, that was pure, like just a pure reaction. Woo, man, all right. Looking pretty close, and Parker at least surviving as long as humanly possible. T1 could have, honestly, they could have rolled up and just like mopped it. It was a 50-50 chance of what I was trying to capture there. I could have caught 788 a little bit sooner in the action, or T1 could have just rolled in and just rolled everyone, which is what I've seen them do before. So I was curious if they were actually going to clutch that out or not. So pretty solid, pretty solid. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying the stream. Don't forget to leave a like on the stream, especially for that Kraber shot. 788 really popping off. And Parker got as much placement points as he possibly could. So we're going on to now Game 6, which is the final game of the day. I'm going to keep refreshing. Once we see the full scoreboard all in place, we'll break everything down. And you guys get to see Parker really kept it together, at least getting them some solid placement points. So that's good to see. Reignite came in really close. I was really rooting for them there, especially as they started to pop off. That was crazy to see. And we saw Reignite really hard gating as much as they could. They were waiting for the moment to see if they would actually really happen. It came pretty close. It came close, ladies and gentlemen, and these are the moments we live for Apex Legends. When we see like those no scopes and those shots, really nasty stuff. Ooh, man, I don't know. I'm still smiling. This this is why we love Apex Legends. It's for moments like this. All right, once the scoreboard is updated, we'll take a look at the breakdown of the score. We're just waiting for T1, as well as I want to see Reignite really is going to shoot up high on that leaderboard based on their placement points that they had. But once it's updated, we'll switch over and we'll break everything down. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we go into the last round, go grab yourself a snack. Don't leave, because we got some crazy stuff happening. Crazy stuff happening. We got one more round coming in. It is 8:07 in the morning. We've been casting for a little over 3 hours now. It's been a great tournament, great time. Jax 3, these are all pros. These are pros. This is for APAC North. Oh, all right, guys, let's do this. Once the scoreboard is updated, I'll capture all that. We'll break it down. Let's see here. Reignite just needs to be updated, and then we'll take a look at that full breakdown. Don't forget, hydrate. Hydrate. I gotta remind myself. It is good to hydrate. Be sure to grab yourself a snack. Come back if you're just tuning in. This is one of the last rounds. You're actually tuning in at a great time. We're about to showcase the last round of the Day 2 for Apex Legends Global Series Championship. A lot of money is on the line. There's a lot here to break down. There's a lot to learn. So don't tune out. You're literally about to watch the last round. And then we'll break down the scoreboard. We'll talk everything through. It is updated, so let's talk this through, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this. Okay. Let's talk about what we see. We see FL. They did go out early. Now, if T1 did manage to get more kills, and this is why we were watching him that last round, is that they managed to actually clutch out and get a squad wipe there and fight for their positioning. I think we would have saw them overtake FL, but T1... they didn't crack under pressure. I think they just got picked on by too many teams out in the open, and they did their best to kind of hold their own. That's kind of why we're seeing them currently in second place at 46 total points. Now, FL currently taking first place still with 60 points. They did hard grief Crazy Raccoon that last round by pushing hard on them consistently. They did need that spot, but maybe they needed to rotate elsewhere. But FL has been very consistent. As long as they have a consistent last round, they'll stay in first. Reignite. Listen, 788 really popped off that last round. Almost got a 4K badge in a tournament. You don't see that often, ladies and gentlemen. You really don't. That's pretty rare to see a player get that much damage in a tournament. But he was really carrying, really showing up with a total of 12 kill points with third place. If they got even a bit higher, they would have overtaken T1 if they got first place there with at least a bit more of a squad wipe. Easy. They would have had the most kills 100% across the lobby. Unfortunately, they weren't able to clutch up the end. but they did showcase a massive performance. GTS Black, like we mentioned before, this is a roster I've seen perform quite well. They took first place with a total of 8 kill points, an ORF, and 5th place. And Crazy Raccoon unfortunately has dropped down to 7th. They definitely need to clutch up this last round. They need another first place with 14 points to really shoot up. And even then, that's not going to be enough to really overtake FL. FL has to fall short, and Crazy Raccoon just needs to mop up the whole lobby. That's essentially what we need to see here. This is gonna be tough, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be a very close tournament from what we're seeing. FL has consistently fallen on 2 rounds, and they could have a similar performance, but doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, gear up, get ready, because we're going to be going into Game 6 of this tournament. If FL clutches that up and wins it, I mean, it'll be a very clear winner. One more round, guys, ladies and gentlemen. One more, and then we are underway. It's crazy to see a team like, especially 788. I think it should be praised just how the performance that he just put on, especially for a tournament of this caliber. 788 has stuck with Pathfinder. I've seen him stay consistent on Pathfinder even when he had low profile. He has smart movement. He has the aim. We've seen plays where he's kind of dropped the ball here and there, but it's because he knows what he's capable of. And that's one thing that should be praised and that everyone should take note of, especially for players of this caliber. This is a lobby full of a lot of skilled players, but the fact that he managed to do so much damage is something that's very commendable. So we're waiting for a few more peeps to hop in, a few more observers, and then we're going to go into the last round of Day 2 of Apex Legends Global Series Championship. Once this round is over, I'm going to be sure to timestamp the VOD so you guys can showcase everything, so we can see everything that's really taking place from all the games and matches. I timestamp them pretty simply. You usually kind of start a stream game 1 through 6 so you guys can capture everything that you guys want to see. So who's winning right now is FL with a total of 60 points in first place, T1 with a total of 46 points in second place, Reignite in third place with 39 points. We have GTS Black with 37 points in fourth place, and we have ORF with 34 points in fifth place. So a lot of solid plays across the board, nothing to snuff at whatsoever. Hopefully you guys are all excited. Crazy Raccoon, unfortunately, is... And he's shut out in the rank guide if Caustic Vault becomes dominant meta when he gets a buff. I mean, we could see it, Gabriel. We could see it. Could definitely do an updated guide. Jupiter Vega, if we're looking at the scoreboard, it's definitely a bit too late for them, unfortunately, but doesn't mean they still can't show up and get higher up on the scoreboard. So really anything could be possible there, but we'll have to see. Any reason why the tournament... A lot of pros are very comfortable with World's Edge. It happens to be the most balanced out of all the maps, and a lot of the pros, and even I think the dev team definitely agrees, which is why we see a lot of it there. Just don't forget as well, there is a 5-minute delay, so I'm always trying to reach chat, but just a shout out to everyone here. You know, Tenzin, Eaton, Gabriel, Gorov, Christian, Night Fox, great to have you here. Zyrox, thank you all so much for being here. Really appreciate everyone for being a part of the stream as well as the channel. It means a whole lot. And if you're in chat, don't forget to leave a like. It definitely helps others locate the stream, helps them be a part. A very quick and easy thing to do. You also commentate other regions. I'm going to be commentating Europe. Whenever they have throughout the days, I'll be commentating Europe as well. Camden, good to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the stream, welcome to the channel. Okay, game 6, ladies and gentlemen. We should begin here in just a moment. And we'll be underway. Oh. Starting in 5 seconds. Let's go. Last game of the day. I can't wait to grab myself some breakfast after this too. Be sure to grab yourself some breakfast. Hopefully you guys got a snack and hopefully you guys are ready and underway. See if we see any comps change. We see any changes in comp? I doubt it. I think everyone's going to stay pretty consistent. I don't think we're going to see massive changes. It should relatively stay the same. This is anyone's game for the last round for T1, Reignite, and FL. Reignite really showcasing their performance. What to follow them? Let's follow them at the start here. Give them a little bit more screen time. We'll keep a close eye. Any changes? We got still LFT is running the Valkyrie. I think that did make a positive change on the roster. There's only we got 3 Valkyries in the lobby. Crypto has disappeared. We no longer have any crypto. I think a team. We got some consistent octanes at least. GTS Black showing up. This could also be theirs as well. A lot of potential here, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of potential. Let's follow Reignite. Let's pause the music and let's get into the last round here. Where does Reignite? They land staging. It looks like they ping beacon. So let's take a look at 788 and see if he's going to go for the beacon and fly solo there. .788 really showcasing what it means to be a Pathfinder in these lobbies. Definitely shouldn't sleep on a Pathfinder. How many? I think we have 2 Pathfinders in the lobby. It's been more inspiring. It makes me want to play more Pathfinder and Valkyrie myself. I know my mains currently are Watson and Lobo, which are like non-meta. I kind of play them a bit for the memes. You know, Watson's fences aren't as good, but they will be fixed hopefully in the near future. Hopefully we see that change. Let's see what the zone is going to pull. Look at that bow. Nice little bow there. Pulling again over around Overlook side. Not too much to worry about here. Everything's looking pretty solid. Reminder, the stream is on a 5-minute delay. This is APAC Legends Global Series Championship, last round of Day 2. We still have Day 3 and Day 4 of next week. Right now you're seeing Group A versus Group C currently competing against one another. Pathfinder making a lot more of a play. Ooh, look at that. Things are already looking up for Reignite. Let's see if T1 has any gold armors. Not yet. Just taking a look at Reignite's rotation just to kind of get a different POV. I don't think Crazy Raccoon is being contested. No, they don't really have any squads around them. FL, no squads around them, so we're not going to really expect much until the rotation, until a little bit later. FTW is looking pretty okay. Do we have any potential fights that could break out? So the answer would be no, except for USG. USG, just as they did before, ran into this team. This has probably been the closest that we've seen to a 50-50. So I wonder if they're going to kind of... Oh, what is going on here? Who did they catch out of position? Are they picking on Jupiter Vega again? Oh my gosh, that's unfortunate. This happened last time with Jupiter Vega. T1 kind of catching him out of position. They literally did the same thing last round, which isn't good. Jupiter Vega needed a really big game to really kind of spike, and now they're going to be down another individual. That's not looking good. I mean, T1 is pretty aggressive when they take their spots over here. They usually land Lava Fissure. Looks like they're trying to push out Jupiter Vega. I believe Banana Star was Jupiter Vega, if I'm not mistaken. Looking around to see if they can find anybody, but it looks like they're not really able to. Let's take a look and switch back over to the POV to Reignite. This is a pretty big game for Reignite as well. That's why we're keeping an eye on them. T1, FL, Reignite, GTS Black. GTS Black has a lot of potential as well. Let's switch over to their POV and let's see how they're doing in their world. Oh. Did this team switch? I think I forgot to update for GTS Black. Might have forgotten to change my notes, and I apologize for that. Oh, we did show up at the right time over here with Lag Gaming getting into an early gunfight. Already pushing in early on in the building, rotating out. Let's see who's near them. This Cog, and there's quite a few teams right on them. And they do have a Valkyrie team flying right into their squad as well. I don't think they're going to full commit onto this. There's too many teams to really full commit onto this fight.
Battery here.
It's a little early to really see
Let's explore this way.
any potential gunfights. There's been no damage. If I'm looking at damage, well, there's been 100 from T1 from that early knock. But other than that, we haven't really seen any damage taking place in the lobby so far. We do have Crazy Raccoon about to rotate. There we go. This is what we're looking for. This is some of the action, right? Fortunately, whiffed some of those wingman shots, and there's the crack, and there we go. Ras connecting the wingman shots that he's looking for. Crazy Raccoon needs a pretty big game here. They're down to 7th place with 32 points. Even if they got 1st place with a massive number of kills, they got to push, unfortunately. So we're going to kind of probably see them play a little bit more aggro than we're used to. A lot of teams are just kind of taking some pick damage. There's the port for the rotation from Waraby. Waraby is currently in 9th place, not too far behind Crazy Raccoon. Unfortunately, he's getting picked on from a distance. Let's take a look at Fennel as they're rotating in. Rotating in a little bit late, which is not abnormal for them. And Reignite falling pretty close behind. Gabriel, thank you so much, by the way, Betty. Appreciate the $5. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of the stream. It really, really means a whole lot. Don't worry, we have more guides and content tutorials coming later this week. We do have 2 more streams next week for Day 3 and Day 4 of APAC North. So this is not the end of this tournament, so I definitely recommend that you subscribe and come back for next week for next Saturday and Sunday, because we will be here around the same time casting ALGS. So we do have some gunfights really breaking out already. Ice Cream stuck in a building here, taking a lot of damage. Unfortunately, that nade absolutely decimated their squad. ORF taking a whole different angle here. Mopping it up, and there it goes. See who has the most damage in the lobby. It looks like it's actually ORF currently who has the most damage in the lobby at the moment. There's a bubble going to push in for the cleanup. Octane tries to run away. He tries to jump pad from a distance, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It should clean that up. A little bit of an aggressive jump pad push there, but he decides, you know what, definitely not going to be worth it. Trying to find his angle, just trying to find his footing and his positioning. This is the most damage that's been done and dealt in the lobby so far. It's coming from Tenor. And we'll see how this all decides to shape up. Lag getting into a current fight. We'll switch over to their POV. There's a lot more fights that are breaking out here than we're used to seeing. A lot of pick damage. Most teams in the zone don't normally go for a lot of these early fights, but they're definitely duking it out early on. It could be just the need for getting kill points early on. But this is not the norm from what we're seeing. Let's take a look at Crazy Raccoon. They're sitting pretty safe. Fennel, which is one of our top squads, as well as T1. They're rotating in pretty safely from their angle. Let's take a look at Reignite. Reignite has the highest probability to get into a fight with Crazy Raccoon located right below them. I don't think this is gonna pull in the open here on the left side if we're going to go for mostly that prediction. That would be where my highest guess would be. Take a look at the highest damage dealt again, as well as Tenor. Oh my gosh, 65 damage in, taking a little bit more damage. Most damage done in the lobby. Look at that.
Enemy over there.
Are we going to see a potential play here? The lobby has gone a little bit quiet, but that's only the intensity that we're feeling across the board. Everyone knows what's on the line here. A lot of patience is being dealt out. Crazy Raccoon definitely knows what is at stake, and Fennel is definitely edging and playing this patient. Fennel, here's probably where the damage is really going to kind of happen. They have the hardest rotation with everyone kind of right on top of them. As you can tell, just from the zone, T1 on the left side of the map here. And I guess we're just going to hold tight. We're just going to have to wait. We're going to have to see how this all plays out, ladies and gentlemen. Game 6. Game 6 of Apex Legends Championship, Day 2. keep an eye on Fennel just because I don't know how they're going to handle this rotation. Reignite has, again, still the highest probability to getting into a gunfight here, and they do, and there it is, just as we were predicting. Is he holding the angle? Getting shot, trying to hold. Reignite is a master of the sniper, man. I know he's whiffing with shots right now, but it is kind of hard to predict at that range. Very difficult to connect, but he does have a sentinel in hand, and he should be connecting a lot of his shots here. Let's take a look at Fennel. They're rotating. They were taking the shots at Fennel just as an FYI, just in case you're curious who they were shooting at. They do have their spot in the zone, but Unite could roll up right behind them. T1 has a pretty high probability to getting into a gunfight here, so we'll keep an eye on them. Crazy Raccoon is low. I wonder if they're going to play patiently. I wonder if Crazy Raccoon is going to just wait and just maybe not necessarily go for first place, but just try to climb the board as high as possible. That could be their play here. T1 playing, everyone's playing very patiently. Everyone knows what's at stake. I mean, this is day 2. Everything is going to add up. This is a build-up. This is not doesn't necessarily have to be everything on the line for just day 2. There are multiple days. There's multiple performances that are going to be shown and going to be had. Don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. Don't necessarily have to gamble as hard as you may expect. That Gibby movement coming into play. Fennel coming in at the right moment. Just had a feeling that they might run it to Unite. Let's take a look. Make sure this is Unite. Yes, it is. I had a feeling. Chat, that they were going to run into Unite. FTW getting into a gunfight already. But I don't know if I want to switch away from Fennel here. Fennel, I think, takes a little bit more of a priority as they're our first place team. And listen, if they were to get knocked immediately here, that could spell... I mean, that wouldn't be good for them. I don't think it'll happen, but you never know. Let's take a look. I think they already clutched this out. They look like they already did. Let's go back to Fennel. Let's make sure Crazy Raccoon hasn't done anything crazy. It looks like they're keeping it calm and composure. T1 are trying to find their spot in, which is respectable. Reignite has some good positioning. They're kind of sitting right above Crazy Raccoon.
Let's go this way.
Don't think Crazy Raccoon is going to jump on top of them. I think the biggest fight here is Unite versus Fennel. This is probably the highest probability of a fight that we're going to really see that's really going to shake things up. Because imagine if Unite just ran in here and rolled them. That would be open grounds for T1 to really run away with things. And CVA is running into RC at the moment. Looks like they mop up CVA, but I'm trying to see if this fight is going to break out. This is a big fight here. Still holding. In a big holding pattern here. They have to move. This is a major conglomerate here. There's a lot on the line here. T1 waited before on a fight. And I know Fennel is very much aware of what's at stake here, that even if they were to push, they do see a team right behind them. They need to be careful. They do have the next building they can migrate to. T1 is right behind them. This right here, what we're looking at is the most important fight of the lobby. This is going to dictate what happens. Could Fennel get knocked out early? Can they fight for positioning? Can T1 get knocked out early, securing Fennel's further first place spot? Could Unite run right over both of them? They're currently in the sandwich position. What the heck is going on over here? Hold on. A2 rolled up right onto A2 there. Crazy Raccoon got some additional points. Not sure how they roll. I think they just rolled right up on them on accident. And there it is, T1 rotating. 84 damage in. And they caught this rotation. They need to get this building. FL, this is a pretty big moment for them. If they do not capture this building fast enough, they did see T1 opted to get out, and now they're in their building. Fennel, if they do not clutch this up, could be losing their first place position. They could be handing this right over to FL. They're pushing right into the building. They are careful not to get arc starred. They are getting rotated on. There is the push, and did he miss? Okay, that was his buddy. I was about to say, I was like, what just happened there? They do see them rolling up. They do get the crack. They could push on this. Is T1 going to roll up on them? T1 is pretty close by. They do have the probability to roll up on this. This is the damage that we're looking for. T1, if they mop up these two teams, could be huge, but I don't think T1 is going to do that. They do have Unite right underneath them. Let's turn on those highlights so you can see that. I apologize. Didn't turn it on sooner. You do see them right underneath T1. It looks like they're finally crossing. Let's take a look at T1's POV. T1 rolled across, and they do have better positioning now. Fennel is in zone. I don't know if they're going to push on this. And they're about to get rolled up on. This is about to get real messy for Fennel. Fennel has to keep their composure. If they do not keep their composure here, they could lose their foothold on first place. Looks like Reignite also knocking out GTS Black. Reignite getting a solid play. Let's switch over to Reignite's POV real quick, and then we'll switch back over to Fennel. Reignite's doing pretty solid here. They do have some solid positioning in the center, but I don't think anything else is going to happen. Let's look at the map. Let's make sure. Let's switch it back over to Fennel. Oh my gosh, this is getting a little bit tight here. There's so much on the line with Fennel, and a lot of other teams are slowly getting knocked out, slowly but surely. But Fennel, they need to clutch this out. They have to make some momentum here. And if they don't, they're just kind of biding their time. They have a hard rotation out. T1 is literally laughing as they see him from across from a distance here, seeing that they're clutched up in this building. And they need to watch out and be careful. And Crazy Raccoon does have the low ground here. And everyone right now has some hard rotations. Oh, let's switch back over to Fennel. They did get a knock from a team right underneath there. They're just begging to be pushed. There's so many different pressure points that are happening right now within the map of so many moments that are vital. All right, the switch. He's about to pop his ultimate. And there's the fight. There was the Q that we were worried about. Can Fennel clutch this out? If they do not, and they manage to with a 3v2, FL is definitely fighting for their positioning and not crumbling under pressure. T1 can't even make a play on that anymore because that was such a clean wipe from what we saw. Crazy Raccoon trying to rotate from the south side here. Let's take a look to see how they're going to manage to clutch this out. FL manages to get a solid wipe. If they didn't get that wipe, that was gonna spell death on their first place because T1 is just begging for it to happen. They're just waiting for it to happen. I don't know if Crazy Raccoon's going to have a crazy performance that they're looking for while we have FL about to rotate. FL has a hard rotation here, and there is a gigantic port in the way, which they're going to use to push out. They do have the bubble to buy themselves some time. T1 is right there. Knock Kanata from what you saw at that angle there. So if we're looking at T1, let's see how much of the POV they see. They're not going to push on this. This is free real estate for FL. Moman got shot from a distance. I believe that was from T1. They do not have their bubble. T1 just finished up the mop up there, buying them some time. Is T1 aware? And ooh, what a mop up by Karan there. Very nice mop up. T1 is just kind of holding their angle here. Let's take a look. That was good 8 squad from down below, and they're trying to recover best they can. We did see, wait a minute. FL just got knocked? FL just got pushed. So much is happening, and T1 is rolling up on this situation. Let's watch T1. This is exactly what T1 needs. They need to keep their composure. They need this. They need this fight. All they need to get 2 more knocks. It's a 2v2 situation. They can't get too excited. They're trying to wait, and unfortunately gets knocked. It's all up to Parka. Oh, unfortunately does not clutch it out. This goes to ORM, which is exactly what we're looking for. And now this kind of goes over to Reignite. Reignite, this could be their game. Now that T1 and FL are out early, this could be Reignite's massive game. They already have quite a few kills to their name, and 788 has a triple take under his wing. Things have shifted very quickly. I can't believe they got run up on. I don't even know. I didn't even see that. Selly is already getting into a fight. Let's take a look at Crazy Raccoon here. Crazy Raccoon is showing up. Let's take a look at Selly Eras's POV, taking shots from a distance. We'll take a close look at Crazy Raccoon as well as Reignite here. Take a look at Reignite's POV. Solid headshots from Dizzy. Rast did manage to clutch out a kill there on ORM. We'll switch back over to Reignite in just a moment. Rast seems to be getting a lot of the damage. Let's take a look at who the current kill leader is. Current kill leader is Sully, which is no surprise whatsoever based on the amount of damage that he's always been doing in these lobbies. Let's take a look. Let's see if 788 is going to manage to hold out Crazy Raccoon here. Dizzy's getting some solid shots. Let's see if the triple take can make a difference here. Care package weapon. It did hear a team behind them potentially. Actually, no. Let's go right back to Reignite there. 788 has a Kraber back in play. Can he put on a show for us? Can he become the showstopper that he is? Listen, I know we're all cheering for Crazy Raccoon, but at the same time, listen, 788 has shown up with the Kraber before. Let's see if it makes the biggest difference. Can he land the shot? Unfortunately, whiffs. We now have 3 squads right out in the open. Let's see if they can gather some quick KP before Crazy Raccoon can scoop up everything. If he lands this Kraber shot, this is going to be huge. Dizzy is actually the new kill leader of the lobby. If 788 connects any of these Kraber shots, this is going to be huge. Top 3 teams Reignite. They need this win. If they get this win, this can boost them literally to first place. This is huge. This has shifted so quickly from T1 having the... Oh my god! Zetter has been knocked, and there is the port to push. And that was on their Gibby, so they have to do a slow res, but I don't think they're going to be able to get to capitalize on that fast enough. But that definitely puts the pressure on Crazy Raccoon. My gosh, 788 with the Kraber in hand has definitely been scary. I think they're waiting for the rat. I don't think they know where the rat is. Shoot, I don't even know where the rat is. Basically, I can see through walls of the highlights, and we can't even see where the rat is. Oh, I see him on the far. There's two of them on the far right over there. I don't know if you can see him. I think it's actually 3. And I want to pull up the map, but I want to miss a Kraber shot just in case it does come through for all of you guys at home. There's a movement. If he can connect this Kraber shot as they do roll down, Crazy Raccoon is something to be feared. But can they put the pressure? I don't know if they have the bubble. Can the Kraber shot make a difference? 81 damage. Did break his shield. Fortunately, does whiff the next shot. He's got one more Kraber bullet in play. Has to be careful from the team far behind. They got to reset. Reignite is not in a good position here. They're in the center of the sandwich. And there is the ult. If they get the Kraber shot, he's got one more shot. All he needs is one bullet to turn the tide of all these fights. He could get knocked here, and fortunately does. And there it is. Crazy Raccoon is going to be running away with this. This is going to be really tight, guys, on the scoreboard. Let's take a look at Sully's POV. Rolling up with the EVA 8 in hand. Said, yeah, you knocked us with the Kraber, but it's not going to be enough, and Crazy Raccoon comes in with the win. Total of 6 kills there. Not too bad. Crazy Raccoon showed up. I don't think it's enough for them to take first place, but this is going to be a really tight scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen. Reignite was really close. So we'll take a look at the scores and see. They were at 39 before. I think they were in 3rd place there. And I don't know how many kills they had. So that's 7 plus. I want to do some quick math and kind of see where this puts them. I was sheesh, man. What a round. A lot was on the line there. A lot started really taking shape from the narrative that we saw, and it quickly shifted. Let's take a look how many Reignite had. They had 10 plus 7, so 17 points. Is that enough to really boost them up? Let's take a look. 39 plus 17. Unfortunately, that does come short, but that does put them up to 2nd place. That does boost them up to 2nd place, I believe, based on, let's see, where did T1 land? And this is going to disappear in a moment. FL, yeah, if FL did secure their spot regardless. They did have a consistent game that puts Reignite. FL does take 1st place overall. Crazy Raccoon with 6, 2, and 1. 8, 9, 9 plus 12, 21, 21 plus 52. I think that puts them in 3rd place, if I'm not mistaken. My math may be a little off there. But nonetheless, once the scoreboard is updated, we'll take a look at everything that is broken down for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, this is on a 5-minute delay, so maybe you guys can see the scoreboard before I do.
kind of break things down. So this is for day 2. And remember, day 2, the scores all do add up overall based on the overall performance of what we're seeing, which really boosts up technically Crazy Raccoon on the overall Battlefy scoreboard based on we're looking up for just day 2 of who really takes it for today. Because based on the scores that I'm really tracking is who's taking the overall for day 2, and it's really going to matter once we're looking at Battlefy, once we take a look at who's overall. But Reignite really reignited the flames of the hearts of the fans. They did quite well. The Kraber shots were on point. We'll take a look we're going to call it the winner of day 2. But remember, on Battlefy, you have to look at the overall score on where everyone's taking place. Overall, very solid day. Don't forget to leave a like on the stream. I really appreciate all of you guys for being a part. Once the score is updated, we'll take a look. And we'll break everything down. Everything is being updated quite quickly here. So the overall winner for day 2, FL in first. Remember, as these days continue onwards, it's going to really start to shift and things are going to kind of change. All right. Once it's updated, we'll take a look at the scoreboard and break everything down. I just want to thank you guys all for being a part again. It means a whole lot that you guys took the time of your day just to spend with me. FL was at 67 points, which really boosted them up. T1. Okay, let's see here. I'll switch POVs in just a minute. Give me a second here. This is still updating in real time. Switch over to the scoreboard. It's still not fully updated, ladies and gentlemen. It's still updating as we go. This is for day 2, but remember, overall, all these days are being added up. As we look at the overall standings, once all this gets added up, we'll take a look at Battlefy once everything is there, because all the days are being added up as a total. See with day 1, day 2. But remember, right now, it's a C and B, so technically the C group is going to have a much larger score, and this is going to shift as next week. On day 3, which is going to be next Saturday, is going to be, you're going to see a shift. You're going to see it from A v B, or Group A versus Group B, and then Group B versus C, and then so forth and so forth, and we're going to kind of keep going onwards. Let's hit refresh. So we'll have the overall score that you see, and USG coming in 4th place, really solid. So we need to see the scores for Crazy Raccoon. They're going to boost up, by the way, quite a bit from 8th place, and they're going to move up. And we need to see the score for Reignite as well as for ORF, which will be updated here in a moment. Again, I appreciate all of you guys for being part of the stream. It means a whole lot that you guys spent the day with me. Big day, ladies and gentlemen. And then we're going to wrap up and we'll see farewell. The overall standings haven't been updated yet, which will be, again, day 2, day 3, day 4. So that's next Saturday and Sunday. So don't forget to subscribe, because we're going to be back. We'll be back again with much more. This is just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, just the beginning. Based on the map, I think Crazy Raccoon was going to be around the 50-something range, so I think they're going to boost down T1, and then Reignite is clearly going to boost down T1 as well. So I think our first place is going to be FL with 67. Second place with Reignite, maybe. I don't know, it's going to be pretty close between Crazy Raccoon and Reignite. Definitely going to be close. And there we go. There's the updated scores. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, that was definitely close. Definitely close. And that headshot with the Kraber was a big opening on Crazy Raccoon. Unfortunately, they just couldn't capitalize on it. But FL took day 2. Remember, day 1, this was a big day. Even though Crazy Raccoon had a rough day, this is still some solid points of consistency on the board for them. Remember, FL taking just day 2, 67 points. Reignite with 56. Crazy Raccoon in 3rd with 53. T1 with 50 points. Remember the overall standings. Be sure to take a look at this as it gets updated as day 2
the numbers get updated overall here. There's going to be a lot to kind of share, and we still have next week for next Saturday as well as Sunday. So I appreciate all of you guys for being a part of the stream, and I'll see you guys all next Saturday. And be sure to subscribe because I also post guides and tutorials here on the channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching.